Hey, yeah, be
Here we
gone.
go.
He shouldn't
He'll
be at number one.
Recording.
he can go anywhere between 1 and 3. So I doubt if we'll be in position to select him. So I mean, at that point, like and if we trade up, it's gonna be for quarterback. We ain't trading up for Travis Hunter. So
See, my thing is like, where is Hunter? Where's he getting evaluated as a corner or receiver? You got to only pick one. You can't do both. I mean, I'm assuming that you can't do both in the league. Maybe he's that
I
dude, but
mean, look,
I just don't.
Well, Travis is off
look.
my board for reasons outside of.
Oh yeah,
off
pick
off
him in
the
the
field,
eighth round. He's a UDFA when
off,
it comes to that, bro.
off the field concerns,
He's a lifetime
character
ban.
concerns.
Lifetime ban in my book. Now I'm just playing.
Man.
Don't forget to clock in, like the thumbs, man. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. Gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, they just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces for my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly rhinestone. It was my idea to shape the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
We back. We back for another edition of Around the Shield. Y'all already see it on the screen, and we got the Severe Raider. We got Big Mike Raider, obviously myself, Pharaoh NFL, man, for another edition of Around the Shield. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Hey, I know it's 2 games left. 2 games left in this tough season, man. That's just to be nice. I'm gonna say tough season. I know y'all got all types of adjectives that you can think of, but we just gonna say tough season. We got a lot to talk about. Before we get this show started, man, make sure to click in, like the thumbs, man. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified for any new content. This is going to be shown on all 3 channels. So if you haven't subscribed to all 3, man, y'all, hey, what are y'all waiting for, man? Go ahead and do so immediately. But what's going on, fellas, man? How y'all doing, man? How was the holidays? What y'all do this week outside of watching the Raiders win the Tank Bowl?
Man, I had to do some last minute shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Ran myself ragged doing that, and then
Right.
Christmas was cool, but I got to get back in the swing of things. I got to hit the gym, man. I'm losing my way, man. This holiday is getting
tough.
me, man. It's tough, man. But
yeah, man, it's tough, man.
I'm good it feels good to be here, man. We got 2 more games, man. I'm kind of sad because the season's over. But it's going to be good content out in the offseason. We can finally start talking about where we're going, what we're going to do in the future. A lot more positive stuff to talk about. So I'm excited for that, man. These last 2, man, it couldn't go any faster, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess let's not waste any time, man. This week we play the Saints. Possibly with Derek Carr. There's a possible chance. There are some reports saying that Derek Carr could possibly come back this week. Obviously, he's going to be playing his former team, the Raiders. There's a lot of extra motivation to play. He's 3 weeks removed from breaking his left hand. Not sure if he's able. It's non-throwing hand, but still, you still have to be able to like run plays and use your hand to protect the football. Yada yada. Y'all know the deal. Do you think Derek Carr comes back this week?
No,
I don't think so either, man. Yeah. I think the Saints are in a situation. I mean, not even just Carr, but Kamara as well. They got a couple other injuries. We'll get into injury report, but they're at the point where they're not making the playoffs. It's not necessarily a tank, but there's some guys that it doesn't benefit them to be back on the field. For their future after the end of the season, because we don't know where Carr is going to be next year. He's probably not going to be a starter, I'll tell you that. And then Kamara might be gone next year. The Saints are kind of in a lot of people are going to be gone from that team that's on this current team now. So they're in a situation where they got some moving pieces. So for those individuals' future, it doesn't make any sense for them to be playing at this point.
Right, but it seems like the Saints are doing their best to have a little bit of gamemanship. You know what I mean? They're not trying to commit to any quarterback. They're saying possibly Jake Hayner might start this game. Spencer Rattler obviously has started some games. So they're actually doing their due diligence to confuse the Raiders because Patrick Graham has to prepare for a QB, right? Is it Derek Carr? Is it Spencer Rattler? Is it Jake Hayner? If the Saints are kind of not committed to one quarterback, then that's what it's going to be. It's going to be hard for the Raiders to really prepare for who's going to be back there. So, which tells me that the Saints might be trying to win this game. You know what I mean? It's interim coach. He's trying to put a W on his resume. I'm sure he has aspirations to become a head coach, a full-time head coach. I mean, I'm not sure if it happens for him this year. Just because the Saints have. I think I read somewhere that they're literally the only team that got that scored 0 points. I mean, last game they were, it was 34-0, and they're the only team to lose without scoring a point this season. So, which tells you how bad they're playing right now, or how tough a season they're having. So, we'll see, man. I think the Raiders can possibly. Man, this is crazy. Better than I don't look. This is the only time where I'm gonna be like, please don't win a game, Raiders. Just please. At this point, there's 2 games left. Yeah. Let's at least get into that top 3. That top 3, top 4. Once you start getting outside that top 5, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But
because you getting in dangerous territories. If you win this one, you picking in the 10s. You're picking in 10, 11 range, and where that doesn't put you anywhere. We're back at square one. So
right.
Yeah, we don't need to win this game, man. Be honest with you. We don't need it.
I mean, if you just look at where we at right now, we're picking number 6 overall. I'll go ahead and show Takeathon current draft order right now. Oh man, this is not even the current draft order. What am I doing here? Hold on one second.
That's in a perfect
world. That was beautiful.
You see how I manipulated? I was just like trying to figure out. This is what I wake up to. The Raiders are the number 1 pick. Yeah. But the reality is that the Raiders got the number 6 pick. All right, so they got the number 6 pick. The Giants obviously, but look, if the Giants go on and mess around and win the game, but you know what? I think after the record, because you can see the teams are tied up here, 3-12. I think it goes down to strength of schedule.
Strength of schedule.
And man, if the Giants if they win,
they drop,
and Raiders lose, they're dropping behind the Raiders. Patriots, they play the Chargers this week. There's some possibilities. You know, some of these teams might mess around and win a game.
I don't see that happening.
That strength of schedule, it fluctuates, man. It's not a
it's not
solid number.
Static,
it's fluid. So you know, you got Tennessee playing Jacksonville too, so that's a pillow fight. Somebody's got to win that, and so you got a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces the next couple of weeks.
Man, Chicago, like back-to-back years with number 1 pick, and now they're like kind of right there hanging around, possibly getting like that. That sucks, bro. Every season you're just getting a number 1 pick. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And the Bears are kind of in the position we're in now this year. Last year, they were in that position where, you know, they had a bunch of cap space and, you know, they have one of the top picks. So Raiders, take note. Don't do what the Bears did. That's all I got to say about that, man. So, you know, it seemed like they made a lot of good moves, but they're back where they started. This
is different team, different topic, but do you agree? Look, but maybe you could connect it back to the Raiders. Do you agree with a franchise keeping the existing coaching staff when they know that they're on their last legs and they got the number 1 pick or top draft pick? You know they need and that top draft pick most likely is going to be a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Bears did. The head coach was on a hot seat last season, and they end up keeping him. But everybody knew that, like, chances of him, you know, staying after this season is pretty low. But I'm like, man, why would you want to risk not having, you know, just consistency of having a coaching staff around your young QB that's part of that you're developing QB. So, like, I don't know, like the Raiders are kind of in the same boat right here. Like, are they if they keep Antonio Pierce, they have to believe in him. They have to be all in on him. They can't just go into it like, you know what, you know, we kind of, you know, they're 50-50 about him. Like, they got to be all in at least, like, for him to, especially with the top draft pick coming up.
Yeah, and like Eberflus was when when he's there, it was like, you know, maybe he should have been gone last year, you know, and I'm sure they pretty much regret that big time. And like I said, man, Raiders, take note, don't do what the Bears did. If you do get a quarterback this year, whoever you bring in, Start fresh. Start fresh because it matters. It matters because you'll be right back in number 1 next year.
Yeah. Because now like they got rid of the head coach, the offensive coordinator. I mean, if you want to ruin a QB development, you just constantly going through coaches left and right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've seen it with so many different quarterbacks. So I just don't want that to happen with the Raiders. So whoever, if they're going to be all in on Antonio Pierce, cool. Make sure you pair him with a nice, a good offensive coordinator that knows how to develop QBs or that's quarterback friendly, and let that guy develop the guy that we're going to be drafting for the next, who's going to play for us for the hopefully next 10 plus years. But that being said, let's take a look at the Raiders injury report against the Saints just to see what's going on heading into this game. And then we could talk about like what we want to see in this last couple of games. Because be honest with you, we're not like I said, like we say, we've been saying since the Raiders season went downhill, like we're not really going to be talking about the keys to the game and all that at this point. Let's see. I think I had the injury report here. Boom. Yeah, man. Hold on 1 second. All right. So this is the Saints injury report. Man, it's pretty light.
Yeah.
Pretty light right now. Dylan Lobby. We were just talking about him earlier, man. Dude,
He got an illness. And know what? I think Nate Hobbs and somebody else missed last week's game with an illness. It was Nate and somebody else. They missed the Jaguars game with an illness. I can't remember who it was.
So is the flu going around?
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay.
So no lobby sighting this week. It looks like so.
Man, not like we was gonna see him play anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
If Dylan Lobby doesn't play any meaningful snaps on offense, he's done, bro. Like, just cut him.
Yeah.
Just let him go. Like, come on, 3-12, and he can't get on the field.
It's not even he can't get on the field. It's like all the other backs in front of him have been hurt. And
exactly.
He still won't play him. So just cut him. If you're not gonna play him, just cut him.
And everybody that's been in front of him, they're not long-term answers at running back too. Like, the chances of some of the running backs coming back this year are not high. But go ahead, Siri.
I say unless you really believe in sincere long-term, which I really don't. I don't. And he's oft injured too. So you're oft injured at the running back position. You usually don't magically get like sturdier as your career goes on.
I think that's his downfall for making squad next year. Is just you can't rely on him. He's good when he's on the field, and it seems like he's better when he does get more carries. But can you trust him to be there for you? I would like to see him as a third down back or a third running back on the squad, but there's a caveat. Can you stay healthy? And it's shown time and time again that he can't be healthy. He can't stay healthy. So you got to move on because of that.
Oh, you're talking about a Sincere McCormick.
McCormick, yeah.
Wow. I would bring him back. I'll put him in that running back. I wouldn't do what the Raiders did this year and be like, we're all in on Zamir White. Man. Come on, man.
Like I said, like a third down running back. Because Amir Abdullah is going to be gone next year. So that's what I would have him as. I wouldn't have him as running back 2.
Exactly.
That's short. You got to find 2 new running backs next year.
Short yardage. Would you look at him as a short yardage guy? Like you could bring him in short yardage, or do you not view him as that type of back?
No,
he's kind of an Amir Abdullah type.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or a change of pace. A Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
man. I would still have him in that room. I mean, because the Raiders, they need all the help they can get in improving that run game. I think he did some good things this season. We just need to add some dynamic guys in that room, man. We at least got to grab someone in like the 3rd or 4th round. I initially said 2nd round, but there's only probably a couple of guys where you be like, man, this dude, you know what I mean? If he's the best player on the board to let's go special, we could do it. But then at the same time, it's like there's so many running backs coming out. I think that we
So
could
many,
wait.
bro.
I think we could wait.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think we wait.
And the thing
That's
is, with Sincere McCormick, love the dude. Like the way he's kind of stuck with it, and he found his way on the field this year. Like kudos to him. But he's had an ACL already that took him out early on, and then now he's out for the season. This time, it's like, man, he's not getting any younger. He had 2 major injuries. It's like,
yeah.
that's my concern for him, man. Can he bounce back? I mean, yeah, sure, he could, but I don't want him to be a guy we rely on. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Have him compete. So that's where I'm at with him, man. I love Sincere McCormick, man. Like he's a gritty player, but it's just can't rely on him, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, the Raiders are relying on Chaseon. He's on the injury report, but he fully practiced, so he's good to go. Definitely a guy that the Raiders should bring back for sure and make part of this rotation. And we talked about this earlier, and like this D-line, man. This Raiders D-line, even without Max Crosby, they're playing well, man. And do you think that's the talent that we have, or do you think that's coaching? What would you give it to? Coaching or talent that we have?
I'm gonna say it's not necessarily neither of those things. I'm gonna say that it's playing for your guy, your leader, playing for Max Crosby. Max Crosby has such a hold on this team as far as leadership goes, as far as mentality goes. Got to remember this time, in the offseason, everybody was in the building. Remember that. And it was led by Max Crosby. And because of that, that rubs off. Max Crosby's not on the field right now, but his presence is still there, man. The intensity, the way you approach the game, it's from number 1 to number 9 on the depth chart as far as defensive linemen go. Each and every guy that's on that field right now is playing at 100 miles per hour. And that's what we're getting. Even guys like, number 96 who got a sack, and bro, like that's I got to attribute that to Max Crosby and his leadership, and that's what I think. You have a leader like Max Crosby who can, transcend and kind of rub off on everybody. Like, this is how we approach the game. This is how I approach it. I expect that. That's the stuff you get. I saw it from Kobe Bryant for years, man. He took a team in 2009, 2010, had no business in the finals. They repeated. They had a bunch of guys that were just guys. They didn't have any stars in that team, but it was led by Kobe Bryant. He had an expectation. Now, I'm not saying that Max Crosby is like the Kobe Bryant of football, but what I'm saying is he approaches the game in that same sort of manner to where, every person in that position room has to bring it every time. And that's what you're seeing with guys like, Chaseon. You're seeing it with Adam Butler this year. We'll get more into him. You're seeing it from top to bottom. Everybody's doing their part and everybody's playing hard, man. That D-line is got to be attributed to Max Crosby.
Hey, I didn't look at that from that perspective. I was looking at it from like, we got some talented pieces on here. We got some you got to shout out Patrick Graham and the D-line coach. I mean, Severe, if you want to chime in on this, like, do you think it's more so Max, or do you think that we got some talented pieces on the D-line?
I think Mike makes an excellent point. I think, you got to look at Max Crosby, and I think, as much as, a lot of people don't want to give him credit, I think AP has also set a culture and let Max set the culture as well in terms of, accountability, playing for one another. But I said it before, man. I think, Robbie Leonard, I think he's a heck of a defensive line coach, and I think Patrick Graham, that's where his history is. It's in as a defensive line coach. That's kind of where he cut his teeth in the league, and I think he spends a lot of time with those guys, and we're seeing guys that weren't producing elsewhere or weren't producing previously producing now. Malcolm Kuntz was a guy last year, kind of an afterthought. A lot of people preseason didn't think he'd make the team, and because of how Josh McDaniels was like hounding him when he accidentally like hit the quarterback that time, right? Like, you thought like it was easy to say that guy might get cut, and what does he do? As soon as he gets an opportunity, that guy sets the league on fire. PFF had him as a top 10 pass rusher that second half of the season. See it this year, right? Caleb Von Chasen, it was a guy, when we picked him up, oh, this guy ain't about to do nothing. This dude, he done he done got booted from 2 teams, right? The Jaguars, who were thirsty for impact players, who drafted him in the first round, they gave up on him. And then Carolina, who had just lost Brian Burns to the Giants, and they were thirsty for pass rushers too. They gave up on him. Why would I think he's going to do anything here? And he's been a revelation. And then Laulu, right? It was a guy that was a 7th round pick, cut by his team. We pick him up, and what is he doing here, right? He's playing well and producing. Who's the guy? Carter. We picked up off the street. That guy gets here. What does he do? Gets a sack. It's his first or his second game. So I think that has to do with the scheme and with coaching as well.
Yeah, and you know what too? This is the defense's 3rd or 4th year in the system.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point, you can plug in and play players and have them contribute, because you already have a lot of things set in place. Like, this is not a team where they're learning a new scheme and but obviously there was a miscommunication on the back end last game, I think, where they gave up a long touchdown. I think, was it last game?
Yeah,
Jack
Jones.
Jack Jones.
Nah, it was against. It was against his last game. It was against the Jaguars.
Which can happen from time to time, which shouldn't happen, but at the same time, hey, look, this is a system that their 3rd or 4th year, so you could see that hey, incoming players, all they got to do is just do their job. You know what I mean? And everything, they don't have to do more than what their job entails. You know what I mean? Just because they have everybody else is already doing their job. And that's what the Patriot way was. You think about it, right? For all those years, the reason why because they had a Tom Brady, and then they have just the same constant system, and then all they had to do was just plug in and play certain players, and they were just good year in, year out. And now you're seeing it with the Chiefs. You're seeing it with a lot of good teams. After a while, if you continue to play in the same system, then all you got to do is just plug and play and start players, and boom, they're contributing. That's how it works. But I see you guys' point, man. I think Max definitely has a big impact on his team. I'm sure they hurt him this week, though.
But look,
we'll get into that in a second.
But to your point, that's what you want to get to. You want to get to that consistency where you're able to keep this system in place, and then you can plug guys in, and they can find a role in that system, right? And that's why the Raiders have been bad for so long.
Yeah,
because we don't allow a system to. Mm-hmm. We keep ditching systems every 2-3 years, starting brand new. You can't build any kind of continuity with that, and that's part because that, and you throw away sometimes, but not we've been drafting that great anyway, but you potentially throw away whole draft classes because they've been drafted to fit in a certain system, fit in a certain scheme.
Right.
You bring in a new scheme, those guys don't perfect example. We talked about it before, right? Alec Ingold. He's as fullbacks go, he's a top 5 fullback in the league, but he didn't fit the system under Josh McDaniels. So they got rid of him and brought in Jakob Johnson, because that guy, he fit their scheme. And now we move to a new offense and a new scheme. Guess what? Jakob Johnson is gone because this offense doesn't use full. So it's all this constant changing, and that's the place where I hate to bring his name up, but Devontae even spoke about it, where it's you have to be a very intelligent player to have played in that Josh McDaniels scheme, and that takes time on task. If you're not a guy that catches on to that stuff quickly, he compared it to learning Mandarin, right? You're not going to learn that in 1 year, right? It's going to take multiple years. But what made the Patriots be able to do that is when you have a quarterback that's good enough to keep you afloat. He ain't got to necessarily be winning every year, but if they can keep you afloat, keep you competitive while you build it and you learn that system, then you can have that sustainability. And that's what the Raiders are missing. We're missing a guy that's going to keep us competitive, keep us afloat. We haven't had that guy, And Carr, I think he proved over multiple years that he wasn't that guy.
Yeah, and it's just the Raiders. It's just a combination of that, but also, man, yeah, I agree 100%. It's just now, and we were talking about how like that's what it's going to take to be successful, and now like, you know, we've talked about this before, is that Antonio Pierce, like, he might not come back.
Yeah,
and if he might not come back, then we're going back to square one, and like,
PG probably doesn't come back either.
Right, and the thing is too, Mark, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't. I don't know if he has the heart to do it, but and maybe he doesn't have the patience for it. But we got to rebuild. We gotta blow this thing up. She's trying to reload. Every season has been like, oh, we're gonna make a run to the playoffs. We're gonna make a run to the playoffs. It's like, bro, we have to, like, we're now set to draft a QB. If you're gonna draft a QB, if there's gonna be a new coaching staff, that's a rebuild. That's a sign of a rebuild. You're starting over on offense and defense.
Yep.
And then you're gonna add a rookie QB. Man, it's gonna be tough for the next couple of years, to say the least.
But the problem is that, well, Mark Davis and Raider fans, they don't have the patience for a rebuild.
No.
Right. If you're going to do like we gave Josh McDaniels a year and a half and we got rid of him. And we kind of already knew, like, you know what, hey, that this playoff run was kind of fugazi, but we thought that we can, Band-Aid another team together. God damn, you still scrolling. That's crazy. But we thought we can do something that first year, but as soon as we saw that wasn't it, man, you got to hit the reset button. But like Mark Davis, he loves this team too much. And it's like, it's like if you have a dog that gets hurt real bad or gets real sick, but it's been your dog for a long time. It's like, look, and you got two options, right? That they can either, like, they'll live, but they're going to be in pain all the time. There's going to be constant pain all the time. Or, you can do what's best for the dog and we can put them to sleep. But Mark Davis doesn't have the heart to put the dog to sleep. And that's like hitting that reset button, like putting it's everything, like, hey, starting all the way over. He doesn't have the heart for that because he's too emotionally invested in the team sometimes. And we saw that, with his celebration of a win. That was actually counterintuitive to what he should want at that point.
Yeah, man. And we spoke about Carr earlier. And there was, like we said, there were some reports saying that he might have a chance of playing, but as you can see, he's on the injury report. Did not practice Wednesday. Did not practice Thursday. We'll see what it looks like on Friday, but most likely he's gonna miss that game. And hey, the Saints playing the little gamemanship with the Saints because they had like different QBs. There's a possibility Jake Haener might start. Obviously, Spencer Rattler has started. We'll see how that shakes out. Kamara also has not practiced. So,
he's likely out.
If this is going to be a game where the Raiders win, this is a game that they should possibly win just because, like, with everybody just hurt. I mean, if Kamara's out, then that's all bad. I mean, for them, they're starting tight end. Even Marcus Van Scantling, he's on an injury report. He's been on fire since they picked him up, especially with Carr at quarterback. For some reason, Carr and deep threats, bro. Yeah. I feel like that's like his bread and butter. Like if you give him a deep threat, they're gonna get numbers.
Yeah,
it's true.
Even he played with the Chiefs and he didn't really do too much with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he gets with Derek Carr and it's like a whole different player, But Chris Olave. He might, he'll be back this game.
He's coming back.
Okay, all right.
They say his head.
Oh
head,
man, huh.
His what?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's Paul.
Head.
Oh, hey, yo, Paul. Nah. He was in concussion. I don't know why. Like that's mad sus by the Raiders because he had a concussion. So I don't know why did you just say concussion.
Yeah, head.
Why did they just head?
Yo, man, mad
whoever,
sus,
hey man,
mad
Raiders.
sus.
This is Raiders website right here, man. Whoever's running the website right now, or the injury report.
Chill.
Just Just said head, fully practiced, man.
Injury report
Man.
by Sean Combs.
No Diddy for sure, man. No Diddy.
Oh man.
Hey man, but man, that's pretty much the injury report this week.
Yo, I didn't see Taysom Hill on there. Is Taysom Hill on IR?
Taysom Hill was not on the injury report, but this doesn't include like IR players. Like that's kind of like a given that they're not going to be.
I'm about to say, is he on IR?
Taysom Hill. Let's see.
He's been injured for a couple of weeks already.
That might affect my pick later on. If Chris Olave and Taysom Hill both play, I might have a
Shoot.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be hurt. I think he's out.
He's hurt, okay. He's been hurt for a while.
He didn't play against the Packers. Oh yeah, he's definitely out. He tore his ACL week 13 against the Rams.
Okay.
So they
okay.
Yeah, he's out.
Put him on IR. They put him on IR. Okay.
Yeah, they put him on IR. He's done.
I'm sorry for him because
he is done. But I mean, he's done. He's done. But yeah, man. Hey, look, I think we kind of touched on maybe who we want to see. I mean, we didn't really talk about it too much. What do you want to see in these last couple games? Like as far as like players that you want to see get on the field. I know I want to see Brock Bowers break some records. I'll say that. Get that out the way.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to see in his last two games? I mean, season's over.
I can tell you what I don't want to see.
What?
I think that might be easier. I don't want to see us win a damn game for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Facts.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense for us to win these last two games, man. And I know Antonio Pierce he's fighting for his life right now. His coach is like, man. The dude, he's still. I don't know if he's
Yo, killing me with
man.
this.
Tell you, man, he might be coaching, his last two games as a Raider. Maybe these last two games mean something to him. Maybe he got the memo. I don't know. Maybe it does mean something to him. But outside of that, man, like I just want to see Brock Bowers do his thing and the D line for the Raiders do their thing, and I'm good, man. That's really where I'm at, man. Losing style at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You want to see some like players that you could project to play in the future for the team, like how, especially when we're at full strength. They're part of the rotation. Like we talked about the D line. I've been saying that I want to see Michael Mayer featured, but I don't know if it's gonna happen this season. It's just a weird season for him and just the team. I mean, Severe, who are you looking? What are you looking for the last couple games? Like, what players do you want on the field? What do you want to see from this team?
It's not going to happen, but I would love to see Amari Gaynor get some playing time, man. I would love to see that. It hasn't happened all year, so likely it's not going to happen right now. Because Amari Burney, he's been getting in, and I think that we kind of see the writings on the wall for Diablo. So Amari Burney's been getting in, and he's actually looked pretty good at times when he's in there. I know somebody that's not getting any snaps on defense. A certain player that was drafted in the 5th round, but we ain't gonna speak about that. But I would love to see Palomau. I love to see Palomau finish the year out strong. Kind of build off his AFC Defensive Player of the Week performance against the Jaguars. Right. I think he's the future at that position. Merrick, after week 2 last year against the Bills, I was ready to have Merrick walk back home. And I think, from that point on, he's been, one of our better defensive players. I think, he's been playing some great ball this year. And the fact that he did it last year and this year, usually I don't trust that kind of production in a contract year. But the fact that he did it last year and this year, I think is a little bit more trustworthy. So I like to see him finish the year strong. And, we had high expectations for this guy coming into the year, and he struggled. So I'd like to see Jack kind of finish the year strong as well, man. He's been Like he got beat last week, on a miscommunication between him and Palomar. He should have got beat twice for a touchdown if Mac Jones, throws accurate ball. Brian Thomas beats him badly on the double move, and that's kind of been Jack Jones's MO, getting beat on double moves. So I want to see him finish out the year strong. Because if not, we could end up needing another corner, and I want to see some more progression from DCAM as well.
You know the thing about Jack Jones, a lot of people have been tough on Jack Jones this year. He hasn't had the same impact that he had in the games that he came in when we picked him later in the season, right? But I think what Jack Jones needs, he's kind of like a Marcus Peters type. You know what I mean? Big play, good at great ball skills. You know what I mean? He's gonna jump some routes. You would love to have him with the D-line just hitting all cylinders. You know what I mean? Like when you got Max back there, when you got the Christian Wilkins, then you got a playmaking DB back there, then you're gonna start seeing his impact a little bit better because he'll be able to jump routes and make some plays on the ball or whatever. But I think right now it's a little tough because now go ahead.
Yeah, I said that's why he played so well last year, because when you have a defensive line that's pressuring the quarterback, they got to get the ball out in 2.5 seconds, right? You don't got a lot of time to be running these double moves. So like he can sit on that. He can sit on that short stuff, and that's kind of how he jumped. That's how he jumped the route in San Diego. Same way he jumped the route against Kansas City, right? Like we were putting all kind of heat on Patrick Mahomes, and they were having to get the ball out quickly, and he kind of knew that. So if you ain't got time to run these double moves, you can sit on it. But this year we haven't been generating the same kind of pressure. So teams are able to beat him deep, and I think that's why he's been so susceptible this year to those double moves. So like that's a great point by you, Farrell. Great point.
And another thing too. It just also just lets us know that we don't have a number one corner.
That's true.
Maybe it's Jacorian Bennett.
Maybe. Agent Zero.
He was real nice. He was real nice before he got injured. I mean, I still want another corner in the building, man. I still want a cornerback one caliber guy in the building.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
I will say this though, kind of rewinding back what you said about Trayvon Merrick. Man, the dude's been balling. Been balling. He's been doing his thing the last 3 weeks. Just looking at the last 3 weeks, I'm looking at PFF. I know what they say about PFF. It doesn't really mean much, but it shows on screen too. It shows on film. Dude,
exactly.
Against the Bucks, 90.4 defensive grade.
Whew.
Falcons, 78.4 defensive grade. 76.3 against the Jags at strong safety. Ever since he kind of moved over to that strong safety position, he has really answered the call. So, maybe a position change for him next year. If we do keep him. Yeah. So that's somebody that we got to keep our eye on. That's somebody that I'll be watching for this game as well.
So, do you think? Quick question. Are the starting safeties this year going to be the same starting safeties next year?
I think Merrick will still be here next year. But it also depends on if Graham's going to be here next year. Exactly. I think that's what really matters. If Graham moves on and he becomes a head coach somewhere, or makes a lateral move to a team who can compete on defense, then I think that Merrick will probably be gone. But if Graham stays, he's going to be back. I think he's going to be back, and because his trajectory is he's on a rise. So it'll be beneficial for him and Graham to have him at the safety position, especially if we're trying to make some noise like right away with this team. I know you said rebuild is going to take a couple years, but we got some pieces. We got the cap space. I know it's going to take a while for the offense to get together, depending on who our OC is. It always takes a while, but Merrick can be one of those guys that can be one of your main guys on that secondary, particularly at strong safety, not at free safety. He's playing better at the strong safety position. So it just all depends on if we keep the DC.
Facts.
Yeah.
Strong chance Merrick follows Graham wherever he goes. So, that's a possibility.
That could be true for a lot of players that are going to be free agents after the season, because we got a few free agents that are going to hit the market unless we don't resign them. Unless we resign them, but we'll see, man. It's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot to pay attention to as far as the team.
But you spoke about Brock breaking some records, man. So what record are you trying to see him break?
Definitely. I mean, he has. We all know that. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt or anything like that. But it seems like he'll hit the. I think what the yards, he'll break that most yards for a rookie tight end. The catches for a rookie tight end, I know he'll break, but I actually want him to break, which he has to have some good games, but it's within reach. The most yards, most catches for a tight end in the season. And I think that was done by, I forgot who that was done by. I think we looked that up before
it was Ertz.
Catches it. Yeah,
Zach Ertz. So I think it's doable. I mean, because just
That's
based
doable.
off how much he's been featured on the offense, he's getting 10 plus catches easy. You know what I mean? Let alone the targets. So if the Raiders are going to try to win some of these games, that means they're going to have to give Brock Bowers the ball on offense, which it looks like. You know what I mean? Especially Antonio Pierce, he's going to try to get him the ball any chance he got. I mean, he's going to be in the coaching staff's ears. I don't think he's going to be part of the game plan, but he's going to be like, hey, we need to get this guy the ball. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're going to try to figure out a way to get him the ball, but I think that's the one I'm looking at is most catches all time for a tight end.
Yeah. I mean, and then another thing, couple things we got to look at. Brock Bowers, the Raiders record for most catches in the season.
Yeah, what's the Raiders record?
107.
Because Hunter has that, right? That's Hunter?
No, Darren Waller.
Darren Waller broke it. Oh, talking about tight end
Darren
record.
Waller has 107. No, single season record for receptions. Yeah.
Oh,
Darren Waller has 107.
I thought Hunter took it. Okay, damn.
Yeah.
No. I think Darren Waller might have probably the tight end record for the Raiders, but I think Hunter Renfrow broke Tim Brown's catch record in the season.
Yeah, I thought Hunter had it.
Let me see who had the most catches for, and anybody in the chat that's watching the show, little trivia. Who had the most catches in a season?
I thought I remember Hunter breaking
for the Raiders.
I think that was
Might
a year.
Be right.
Let me look. I think that's the year that we went to the playoffs that year. I thought he had it.
Nope. He had 103 in 2021, but Darren Waller has 107 in 2020.
That's crazy.
So he was close to breaking.
That's crazy.
It. But he didn't break
the Raiders know how to
Darren
throw
Waller,
tight end.
107.
Dang. The
Raiders.
Raiders.
That's one thing.
But he broke Tim Brown's record. You're right. That's true.
Yep.
It's Darren Waller, Tim Brown, and then Devontae is third, and then Hunter Renfrow.
Devontae's third.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, third. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So I know we were talking about this a little bit before the show, and we'll kind of put this to the chat and see what you guys think. But Pharaoh is of the opinion that Brock Bowers will one day break the single season receiving yards record for a tight end, which is currently held by Travis Kelce, was 1,416 yards. And I think he can do it, but if it were to happen, it's going to be only under two circumstances. We have an extremely high-powered offense, or we're one of the worst teams in the league and we're just force-feeding them the ball, kind of like this year.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you, and it would have to be. I think it would be more on we have a high-powered offense because if you look at the Chiefs when he broke it, they had a guy that can go downfield, take a top off of defense, which leaves underneath wide open. And how many times have we said, I don't know about you guys, but Travis Kelce's always open. It doesn't make any damn sense to me.
Yeah.
The dude is the slowest dude on the field, but he's
Yeah.
always open. So
Yeah.
you need a guy that can take a top off of defense and leave that underneath just wide open. And that'll be perfect for a guy like Brock Bowers getting a bunch of catches. Now, who's going to be that guy? Who knows? You know, that might be somebody down the line. Maybe it is, once again, not trying to start nothing, but maybe a Tyreek Hill kind of runs it again. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's rumored to be, you know, a lot of people are saying that he's rumored to be with the Raiders next year via trade or whatever it may be. I think it's BS, but that is the perfect candidate to have somebody like Brock Bowers benefit from, you know,
my God.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have to be that type of scenario. Also, we need a running game, play action. If we don't have a running game, it means nothing. So those are the two things for me that would have to be for Brock Bowers to even get close to that 14-16. I think he's probably an 1,100 to 1,300 yard guy consistently, barring no injuries. That's kind of where I see him. I don't think he'll ever get to that 14-16. That is an absurd number.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't see it happening, man. I just don't.
Travis did that in 15 games. I think we said that beforehand. He did it in 15 games. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. So I guess I'm just gonna be the guy, right? I'm gonna be the guy that plays. I'm gonna play devil's advocate right now. Okay, so Brock Bowers is doing this at age 21, rookie season, with probably, arguably, the worst quarterback play that I've seen from the Raiders in I don't know how many years. It was worse than last. Definitely worse than last year. And last year was pretty tough with Jimmy G, Aiden O'Connell as a rookie. But this year is bar none to me. I think it's the worst since. I mean, man, if you're talking about the late 2000s, early 2000s, you know what I mean? It's where the inconsistencies at quarterback have been an issue, but he's still getting his numbers. He's still dominating. He's still getting open. So you got to factor in that. Right now, he's at, 1,000 yards, at least 1,000 yards receiving, right? He has, a couple of games left. Most likely, at the very least, he's probably going to finish with 1,100 yards, the very least. If you want to project him more, you could probably say maybe
12.
You could like 1,200 yards. Like, you know, the ceiling is probably 1,200, maybe more. You know what I mean? Depending on, like, if he goes crazy. You know what I mean? But I'm going to say, like, 1,200 would be, like, the top end. And then, you know, bottom would probably be, like, 1,100 yards. Because he's, like,
He's at 1066 right now.
1066, you know what I mean? You know, like, we don't know what's going to happen in the last couple games. They might do something.
He's on the up.
Raiders might do something crazy, not throwing a ball. You know what I mean? Last game of the season or something like that.
Yeah.
Some weird stuff that, you know, it can always happen. That being said, so you're telling me a guy that at 1,100, 1,200 yards, his rookie season, age 21, terrible quarterback play. I'm talking about terrible quarterback play. And then you got to factor in, how is he doing this? He's not look, you mentioned Travis Kelce. He gets open even though he's like the slowest guy on the field. Completely different game. You know, like Brock Bowers and Kelce have a completely different game. He's pretty fast. Like, he's actually one of probably the fastest tight end in the NFL. You can argue that. And he could beat you on different levels of the football field. Obviously, the short game, we see that. The yak ability. We know the yak ability. Then the intermediate part of the field. We've seen him go deep and catch them footballs and take it. He can beat you in a lot of different ways. So if he can beat you in a lot of different ways, then you would have to think or project him to get at least 1,400 yards. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to consistently get you 1,400 yards, 1,600 yards. I got to see it to believe it. But you know what? Hey, man, he's better than what I expected. You can argue he's the best tight end in football right now. I think he could easily break that Kelce record. I will say this. If you divide it, you know, you do the math, right? 17, you know, games, 14, 16, that's just under 100 yards a game. You're getting about probably, I don't know, roughly, I'm saying about 80 something yards you would need a game to get to that. I can see that.
and also, possibility of an 18th game, down the line.
Yes, yeah. If that happens, if we add another game, I think he can do it because that completely changes it.
The one thing that you guys have kind of overlooked is the fact that he's doing this with the quarterback play as is right now. It's pretty bad. So if you improve the quarterback play, just improve that.
Yeah.
That's gonna make his game that much easier. That's probably gonna give him bigger plays. That's probably gonna give him more touchdowns. It's probably gonna, you get what I'm trying to say? It's gonna make things a lot more easier than him. Because you mentioned Kelsey, right? You mentioned Kelsey, right? Kelsey, he's in the top of a lot of these stats. He's a talented tight end. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He's a talented tight end. But you combine that with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and then you mentioned like Tyreek Hill and how and Kelsey, he's not like a speedy tight end, but he's gonna get open. Like you said, he's crafty. He gets open, has a great after the catch, breaks a lot of tackles, but his game kind of it kind of like it went well with Tyreek Hill in his game and all that. I get that, but I think Brock Bowers is a different type of tight end, though. I think we're making that mistake comparing him to Kelsey, and I think Brock Bowers, he beats you. It's almost like it's almost like a receiver at tight end, literally.
Yeah, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but you also gotta consider, like, the ball's gonna have to go around to, if you do bring a guy that is, gonna take the top down, top off. In your defense, also we have a guy like Jacoby Myers who's flirting with 100 catches too right now.
Yeah, I think he's not over 100. I think he might be over 100.
Is it?
Or not yet, not over. I think he's over 100 targets. He's like 80 something.
He's over. Right? Yeah. So he's flirting with 100 catches. You know what I mean?
Catches for 700 yards. Like what the hell? He's never broken the 1,000-yard mark. Jacoby Myers, good player.
He's close.
But
he has like 800 some yards.
He's struggling to get that. Like he's always struggled to get. He's never got 1,000 yards. And I'm nothing to take away from Jacoby Myers, but let's pump the brakes on him. Like he's not a premier number 2 receiver like a T. Higgins or. He's just not that explosive. But is he a good possession receiver? Yes. But you know what I mean? Say
if you did have that, say you did have, to your point, he's not that guy, right? Say you did have a T. Higgins, you did have a possible Tyreek Hill or a McMillan if we draft him later on. Who's to say that gets the same volume when those guys come into town? You know what I mean? You might not have to find Brock Bowers as many times, which will mean he's not going to get as many yards. Now, is he a threat, for Yak? Yeah, that's a possibility. But for him to be that big of a threat with Yak to where he's getting 1,400 yards on, let's say, 70, 80 catches, like, that's a lot to ask for, man.
Y'all treating Brock Bowers? You're not treating him like, look, in my opinion, y'all treating him like a great player on a bad team. That's what pretty much y'all pretty much are saying, because what you're saying is that if we add more talent, it's going to take away from him. No, he's going to be the premier player on the team.
Yeah,
who are you guys projecting to come to the Raiders to take away his? Because he's already established himself as the number 1 guy.
I'm saying, but he'll still be the number 1 guy. But target share is going to be spread around. Right now, he has 27 more targets than the next nearest person, and then after that, and that's Jacoby Myers, and then the next nearest after is Trey Tucker, and then the next nearest person after that is running backs.
I want to see the quality of these targets. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Like the catches that he was making last game, literally catching balls at his ankles. You know what I mean? Like, pause. He was catching at weird.
Yeah.
Like he was. The dude got hands.
Mega pause on that one.
Yeah, mega pause. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you have to, when I say that you have to question the quality of his targets, when a guy, one of his biggest strengths is yak, and the ball is not accurate, then that takes away one of his biggest strengths because he has to slow down and catch it behind him, which gives the opportunity for the defense to block him. You know what I mean? Like
that's not all the time though, man. That's you're acting like every pass he catches. Bro. Like he's had a lot of passes where he's also had a lot of stuff where he's just like schemed wide as hell open, or they dump it underneath and let him just. They've done a lot of that too. So they're putting him in position to be successful. And when they didn't put him in
it's easy to do that because it's easy. It's easy for them to do that.
Because he's versatile. They're doing what they should be
versatile,
doing.
Talented.
But when they don't do it, you get the Tampa Bay game. That's what happens. You get the Tampa Bay game. So it's like it's going to take a lot. We're going to have to be very bad. Like the players that do it. The top 5 guys it's basically Travis Kelce and George Kittle. When George Kittle did it, that team was 4-12.
Man,
he didn't have another receiver get more than 500 yards, and he had Nick Mullins throwing him the ball. So like when Travis Kelce did it, Patrick Mahomes was throwing for more than 5,000 yards. So it's either going to have to be a high-powered offense, or the team's gonna have to be really bad, just force feeding them the ball. That's the only way it's gonna happen. The only way it's gonna happen.
Okay, I mean, like you trying to paint that scenario, but either way, I think my main point is because I think before the show we said that, hey, look, is it possible chance? And y'all like, maybe he might have like this dude is doing this. He has 1,200 yards, and he's about to break all records in his rookie season with terrible quarterback play, terrible everything. Everything is terrible.
I'll say this,
you're
bro.
saying
I'll
that
say
maybe there might be a slight chance. Like, of course he could break the record. I'm just saying. I think that it's without a doubt. I'm confident that I think he could break that record.
I think you said he would do it.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Stand on business, bro.
Yeah. But
it's not gonna happen.
I think he can easily do it, man. I think he can easily do it.
To your defense, bro.
Yeah.
To your defense, I'm gonna be on your
defense.
Because
right now, man, this how I feel right now, man.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
Oh man,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Look, to your defense, man. If you're looking at Brock Bowers as your wide receiver 1, he's a tight end, but you're looking at him as the target. You keep him, Jacoby Myers, as your wide receiver 2, even though he's a 1, right? At this point, right now, he's our 1. But if you keep him in that same role, bring in a top end wide receiver 3. You don't go for a guy like, T. Higgins or somebody like that. You bring in a top wide receiver 3, then he has a chance to do that. But you also got to have a good running game for play action purposes and things like that. It can work, And also the threat of having a second tight end and 12 personnel will also help too. It also helps that a guy like Noah Gray for the Chiefs, he's also a threat too when it's all said and done. Yeah. So having something like that, having those type of and maybe Michael Mayer is that guy down the line, right? But it would have to be those kind of scenarios for Brock Bowers to do that, and that's a possibility. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but like you're okay. Y'all like are saying like, oh, this is how it's gonna happen. I'm saying that it's going to happen. Like I'm saying that it's going to happen because I look, I could easily be wrong, but what I'm doing is I'm projecting because I'm looking at how this guy is being productive. I understand you guys are saying, oh well, it's because the Raiders are a bad team and they're featuring him a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was doing it. He was doing featuring him. He should be featuring him though. But he was doing it to begin the season. He was making plays to begin the season with all the pieces on the field. And with terrible quarterback play. Terrible run game.
He would not have 140 targets if Devontae was still on his team, bro. He wouldn't. He would not have 140 targets with Devontae still here.
Mike, you just said right now, you said would help him get his numbers is have a good run game. And for the majority of the first portion of the season, we've had a terrible run game. And you can say overall we've had inconsistent run game because there's been games here and there where we've kind of ran the ball at times, but for the most part, we can say inconsistent. Exactly. You could say one of the worst in the NFL. And he's still getting his numbers. And teams know at this point that he's getting the ball. And we have like it's like you know that this guy is the best player on their team at this point, and he's still getting his numbers. He's still getting open. He's still making plays. Like so what I'm saying, what my projection, yeah, you guys can say like, oh well, this is how it's going to happen. Yeah, I agree. If it's a high priority offense, a bad team, a run game, let's throw every scenario there. He's still going to get his. Is what I'm trying to say. He's still going to get. This is what the season's proven. He's still going to get his, and that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm a land the plane here real quick. And the fact that a lot of his game, from what we've seen, he can beat you in a lot of different ways, man. I think that's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing for me to project him so high like that. But go ahead.
So to wrap it up, man, what percentage would you give? Severe, you too. What percentage would you give that Brock Bowers at some point breaks that record? What percentage?
Assuming we stay at a 17 game season, like I said, we're likely going to 18. If he goes to 18,
Assuming 18.
Assuming 18. Okay, that changes things. Ooh, that's I mean. Assuming 18, I think it's more likely than not if it's 18 games. That's a whole nother game.
Okay.
But under because Kelsey did it in 15, so everybody else did it in less games. So say you got two extra, three extra games over what guys in like that's big. But like 45%. If it's 18 games, 45%.
If you want to take away from Brock Bowers just because he's playing in a 17 game series, you could do that. But look, by game 16, which will be next game.
I'm not saying like I'm not taking away from him. I'm saying, but like if you're trying to project over what somebody does over one game, that makes a big difference. Like one game is,
man. I'm telling you, man.
When we're talking about breaking records, like that's not taking away from him as a player. We're talking about like a record that like that's has to happen in a certain amount of time. If you add time to it, like that, of course that's a factor.
Well, think about what he's gonna do with 16 games. You know what I mean? Which is going to be against the Saints. The Saints will be the 16th game. What is he going to break? So he's most likely going to be breaking the yards for a rookie tight end. He's going to be
Raiders
breaking
all-time record.
Raiders all-time record. Can he possibly break the rookie catches too as well? This game as well.
Yeah,
I think.
He's going to break that too.
Possible. I think it's probably going to take him another game to break that all-time catches for a tight end. You know what I mean? I think it's going to take him another game unless he goes like...
He's going to need about 9 each game, bro. He's going to need about 9 each.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he can easily do, man. Like, he's been doing it. He's done it consistently. We've seen multiple games where he's had 10-plus catches. So it's like, at this point, like, you know, you don't have... It's hard. It's going to be hard to bet against him. But that being said, hey, look, at the end of the day, the Raiders have a pretty good player, a great player at the tight end spot. How he can be productive, there's so many different ways. And I think that what my main point is that the pieces around him, I think, are going to get better. You know, I think over time, if the Raiders, obviously it's on the Raiders to improve that, like whether that's the quarterback play, which is hard to guarantee that it's going to be good. You know, so that's one of the hardest positions to get right. The run game, though, I do see getting better. I do see the run game getting better.
It has to go higher from here, bro. It does.
I'm just saying, man.
It can't get any lower. Shit, like
really can't get much worse, man.
And the receiver, look, and that's another thing too. I don't know. I'm not sure if the Raiders go the route of prioritizing the wide receiver position. Like I think they're gonna prioritize it, but I think it's gonna be about complementing the pieces that we have on offense. So, for example, you guys mentioned like, oh, imagine if we had a deep threat. But if we have a deep threat, this is not gonna be a high. It's not gonna be like it's not like he's gonna have a lot of targets. I don't think a deep threat is gonna have a lot of targets, especially coming in. I think it's just gonna be more a few shots down the field, especially if he's going to be a rookie. You know what I mean? I just think that at the end of the day, like, I don't think that's going to be
Sometimes
a
a
big shot.
threat of a long, a deep shot is enough for a tight end to be open.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that they're going to be going long every time. What I'm saying is you got to respect the long game at that point.
Yeah, man. You know what? Like,
You know, that's
we'll see.
at
We'll see.
30%. That's what I would give it for him to break
30%.
that.
30% to get 1,400 yards.
30%.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
And he's probably going to finish with that 11 or 1,200 his rookie season.
Yep, 30%, bro. That's what I would go with.
If we get better weapons, it's going. I'm telling you, you think it's going like you think if we get better weapons, we're not going to utilize them. Like what? Like why would T Higgins come here to what? Like not get any targets at all? Like right now, Brock Bowers is he's the number one guy getting targets. It's him and the running backs for the most part. Occasionally we throw a ball or two to Jacoby. We might throw one or two to Mike, but you know it's him getting 15. Last game he got 13 targets. 13 in the game. Like you got better weapons.
I don't think we get T Higgins though. I don't think we get T Higgins. The reason why I remember when we got Devontae Adams, I was jumping for joy because I was celebrating because that type of player, that caliber player at wide receiver, it's hard to get when you don't have a premier quarterback. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these players, they're trying to go to situations where they can continue to be productive so they can continue making money. So if we're being honest, so I just think that's going to be a big part of how the Raiders address the position. It's going to be it's going to be it's going to be role players because they already have a premier player at tight end. They can actually go about it a different way. They don't have to waste so much time trying to get T Higgins to say no, and then they missed out on so many other players. I think the Raiders got to be smart too. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. In that scenario, yeah, he can get that if they do bring in just guys like a solid wide receiver 3, or you elevate Trey Tucker in a way where he's a guy that he's our deep threat / wide receiver 3. He's getting more targets, or is more of a threat to be going long where people respect him to do so, and kind of keep with Jacoby Myers in that same role. Then I could see that, but it would have to be that.
Yeah,
but I think under that scenario, we're a bad team. We're like a 6-7 win team.
Yeah.
Like we're 6-7. That's what I'm saying. Like he can get it, and we'll be a bad team, or we can be like a super high powered offense. Like the years that Travis Kelce had those, like Mahomes was throwing for like almost 5,000. I think he threw 2 of those years. He threw for 5,000 yards. One year he threw for like 4,900 yards. So it's like there's super high-powered offenses. Like we had like 5,000 yards out of your quarterback for your tight end to get 13, 15, or 14. We're never going to
also we're talking about Andy Reid. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, and we're talking about Kelce that was in his prime. Kelce's not in his prime no more. He looks like he's not the same player. He looks like a guy that is actually he's benefiting with playing with Mahomes and has Andy Reid as his head coach, his offensive coach. You know what I mean? So he's going to get his because of like that. But prime Kelce, no one could stay with him. Like no one could guard him. Like he was like literally.
Yeah. Well, one of those seasons was 2 years ago. It was 2022. The year he broke the record was 2018 or 2019 or 2020. 2020. Yeah, but like, but the other season was 2 years ago. Like so, and Mahomes threw for like 5,000 yards. So that's my point is like all the guys up there that are in those tops, like it's Kelce a bunch of times and it's Mahomes throwing for 5,000 yards. Then it's Kittle and the team was 4-12 and they sucked and they force fed him the ball. And I think under those circumstances he can get it. But it's gonna have to be one or the other.
But the thing is though, it's the tight end. The tight end. If we're looking at the tight end position, right? It's Kelce and then everybody else. It's Kelce then everybody else for years. It's Kelce. As Raider fans, we're like, oh, Darren Waller, but Darren Waller never could stay healthy.
Balling. I mean, it was Kelce Kittle. It was Kelce Kittle, and then the third guy was sometimes Waller, sometimes Mark Andrews. It depends.
Yeah, but Waller was never Kelce, and Waller maybe talent wise there might have been a chance, but he just was never healthy, and then maybe he also didn't have as probably the QB play wasn't Mahomes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it
Mostly
wasn't
the problem.
Yeah. And Andy Reid, like, just you want to talk about scheming someone open? Golly, like finding creative ways to give, Kelsey the ball. Like, man, that's probably one of the best guys to have back there drawing up plays for you. So that's another thing too that we really didn't talk about as far as if Brock Bowers is going to get that record or continue to break records is like who's going to be his coach or offense coordinator, because he's going to definitely need someone creative back there. Yeah, that matters. Yeah. That matters, man. But yeah, hey man, let us know in the chat, man. Like, hey, I'll put
crazy, bro.
Yeah. Let us know, man. Do y'all think I'll put a poll on the chat, and I think we all can do that too as well in our respective chats, and we'll put out will Brock Bowers break Kelsey's single season yards record, which is 1,400 yards. Not this season, obviously. I don't think that'd be crazy if he breaks it. He'll have to get like 200 yards each game to break it. Yeah. But will he break that record? And if so, in the chat you can give us a percentage. I'll say 65. Give me 65. Give me 65%. Give me 65%. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen a rookie tight end have this type of impact for the Raiders. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
No, maybe y'all can tell me. I've never seen it.
There's only been 3 rookie tight ends to go over 1,000. It's Mike Ditka, Kyle Pitts, and Brock Bowers. Only 3 tight ends to go over 1,000 yards as rookies.
And the way he's doing it, he's doing it like a seasoned vet. Like, he's doing it like this is what he does.
It's
routine. It's routine. No, straight out of college at age 21. At age 21. So that's the big part of it too. Like, that's why I'm projecting so high. That's why I'm so like, man, I think he can get even better. So if he can get even better, and his rookie season was what, at 1,100 yards? What does that look like? What does better look like? But hey man, we've been on this for a little bit. But yeah, let us know in the chat what y'all think. I'll put a poll out there. Y'all make sure to participate. But let's move it along, man. Hey, it's that time, man. It's around the nation, man. Around the nation, y'all. So this is where we get into what's being talked about with the Raiders lately. What's going on right now? And I think everybody's been talking about the draft pick, right? We lost it. We had the number 1 draft pick. We ended up winning the game against the Jags, and now the Raiders are picking number 6. And let's actually have this conversation. If we're picking number 6, it's going to be harder to get a quarterback. There's a chance that we don't do it. There's going to be a chance that we're still going to get a quarterback. But I'm just going to have this conversation. If we kind of talked about this earlier in the week on 50-50, but I just want to continue this conversation. If we don't pick a QB, what player do you guys want us to pick at number 6, if that's the final draft position for the Raiders?
So if we pick up at number 6, a guy like McMillan, one of those dynamic wide receivers, is probably not going to be on the board by the time we pick at 6. One guy that I would look at, and the way Telesco picks is BPA, is Abdul Carter from Penn State, the defensive end. Now, I know guys are going to say we don't need an edge, but this is BPA. We're talking about this is a Telesco move, and he might be around at 5 or 6. He's a top 5 projected guy right now, and the guys, the teams that are picking before us aren't really in the need. They have other needs besides getting a Carter. So that would be a good, compliment to Max Crosby on the other side, and on top of the depth we do have with Chase on, possibly Kuntz coming back. Now it would be even better if Kuntz does go somewhere else. That would be a solid move for us to make. If Kuntz decides he wants a payday somewhere else, that would be a good answer to, him leaving, bringing in a Carter like that. So that's a guy that I got my eye on. Yeah, that's my guy, Abdul Carter from Penn State. That's where I would go at number 6.
Okay. Severe, who you got?
I mean, the hope is Tetaroa McMillan falls to 6.
Yeah.
If not, I know Mike doesn't like the idea, but Will Johnson, he was my number one player coming into the year. I still have him as my number one corner, despite a lot of people feeling Travis Hunter is that guy. He's still my number one corner. I'll ask you guys this though, because I know we all like DJ Glaze. I think most of us we've kind of like what we've seen out of the other tackle, the tackle that's hurt right now. Man, his name escapes me. No, not the tackle, the guard whose name is Jordan Meredith. I think Jordan Meredith. I think he was solid at left guard. I think he did an admirable job. But Parham has been an unmitigated disaster, and he only has 1 year left on the deal. And DJ Glaze does, some people projected him as a guard in the NFL. So do the Raiders, could they possibly go after a guy like Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks at right and put them at right tackle? Or, I think Colton Miller, I think he doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his deal. And I'm sure he wants an extension with some guaranteed money, as does another player. I think we'll discuss that later. So is there a chance that possibly, I know some people in Raider Nation, they've kind of lost faith or been, especially with Colton early in the year dealing with that injury, kind of playing a little bit poorly. So could they go after a guy like Calvin Banks or Will Campbell in this draft and slide him at right tackle, or as a potential replacement for Colton Miller at left tackle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, I mean,
I'm
surprised. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention Mason Graham, defensive tackle. Out of Michigan. I think that I don't think he's gonna. Do you guys don't think he's gonna make it to number 6? He's gonna take it.
No, I doubt it.
Where do you see him going? Like top 3? You think he's a top 3, top 4 pick?
Top 4. The top 3 are set.
Yeah, top 3 is set, and number 5, I can see him 4 or 5, depending on who's at that position. If the off chance he is at 6, I still like Carter over Graham. Graham is nice, but I think that's not our problem in the interior, especially with Wilkins coming back. It's not something that's a dire need. The bigger need, actually, if Kuntz does leave, is that other side. To be honest with you, and that would make a lot more sense. So. It just also depends. It all depends on what Kuntz wants. And are we sold on Kuntz? Like, I don't know. I said this before he got injured. Like, we really we're putting a lot invested on somebody who has 7, 8 good games, half a season, and are we fully 100% invested in kind of moving forward with him and saying he is the guy on the other side of Max Crosby? Like, I'm not too sure about that. So if he is asking for too much money, sometimes you might just have to let him walk. And then in that case, then Carter might be the viable option at number 6.
That is very. I think that's very true. I think it also depends on what Chason is asking for as well. I think he's a solid guy. I think he's proven he can be at least a very good situational pass rusher. If not more, because was just a first round pick. What like I think he's only like 25 years old, something like that. Like he's dude is young.
Yeah.
He's very young. He's younger. I would say he's younger than Aiden O'Connell. So like he's very young.
Both Kuntz and Chason are 25 years old, and this pass rusher market is kind of like it's not really. I don't think it's that good as far as like DNs goes. I think Kuntz was gonna be the guy. That's why we felt like Kuntz was gonna be gone, is because he was 25 years old.
Highsmith get locked up? Did Highsmith get locked up?
You know what? It would have been him and Kuntz. Would have been him and Kuntz. But Kuntz was, we were projecting before the season starts, like, hey, Kuntz, the way he finished last season, he's going into this season. He looks like he's probably gonna have a pretty solid season, good to solid or solid to good season going into his Free agent, he's 25 years old. Those guys get paid. And the Raiders didn't, commit to him, but he ended up getting hurt. These types of situations, like a lot of times, we see them a 1-year deal, and then so they can get back healthy, get their numbers up, and then get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of see that situation with Kuntz, but like we mentioned earlier, Patrick Graham, him not like it's just that situation is going to be interesting. Does Kuntz stay with his guy Max Crosby, or does he kind of go where Patrick Graham goes? Does he go where he knows the coaching staff, like maybe like I think the Bradley was part of drafting him. I don't know if he's going to stay there past this year with the Colts, but if he does, then you can see him go to the Colts. Kuntz could go to the Colts and then get his payday that way. But Chase Young, same type of deal. But I don't think a lot of teams are going to be committing a lot of money because, I mean, if you look at his final numbers, it's not like he had how many sacks does Chase Young have right now?
He had 5. I think he has 5, 4.5 or something.
Yeah. Oh, he has that and half a like, like.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Kuntz, his value kind of drops a little bit if Chase Young's putting similar type of numbers. Say Chase Young finishes with 6, something like that. That's similar to what we were expecting from Kuntz anyway.
He has 4. Yeah. He has 4.
So he has 4.
He has 4. But he has a
5
couple
or
of picks.
6, like
he has a pick or two too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
So I'm saying he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. And this is comparable to what we were expecting from Kuntz at the beginning of the season. This kind of trajectory, like, flirting with 10 double-digit sacks, maybe 8 to 10, something like that. But definitely not the turnovers and the interceptions. You know what I mean? So just that alone kind of lowers his value. You know what I mean? But and if Kuntz is asking for way too much money, since he's probably going to be one of the top guys coming out as far as the edge goes, free agency, there's going to be a team that's going to pay money for him, that will overpay him. There's teams out there that will overpay him.
I hear what you're saying, Mike. I don't think there's going to be a market. I don't think his market is going to be there.
Yeah, because of injury, possible,
because of injury and because of productivity. Yeah. Like he had 8 sacks in the second half of last season.
Yeah.
This season was the season where it'd be like, okay, show us what you can do in a full season.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
Yep.
So
that's true.
I'm kind of betting on like, all right, Kuntz is gonna be like, but I don't like these offers. I'm 25 years old. I'm supposed to get paid. This is my biggest deal. Let me show that I can get back healthy, and then put up a good year, and then I'm gonna come back and reset the pass rusher market. I can see that happening.
See, but
hopefully does.
We've seen over the last few years, a lot of teams, the Panthers of the world, the Commanders of the world, overpay guys, for the sake of filling a need. Who's to say that a team who needs a guy on the other side of somebody else isn't going to give him the money he's looking for?
That'd be crazy, Mike. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I mean, if they gave him a big deal and he's never had like, we just don't see that a lot, bro. We don't see that.
I'm not saying that he's going to get. Every team is not that dumb to where they're going to give him a multi-year deal. But what I'm saying is, he's looking for that 1-year deal to prove it. Say he wants 15 million. You know what I mean? Something crazy like that, or 14 or 13, something like that. There is a team out there that will give him what he's asking for. You saw with the Panthers, they paid a guard, one of the top guards, paying guards in the league, and he wasn't worth that money. But the Panthers fulfill the need because they have to do it. They don't have any attraction. They don't have any incentives for people to come in and maybe take a haircut or, something like that. Like there's teams out there that will pay top dollar for the sake of fulfilling a need. That's all I'm saying. The Panthers of the world, the Jaguars of the world, like there's teams that'll do those type of moves. That's all I'm saying, and it's a possibility that he can get that payday. I'm not saying it can happen, that it's going to happen. I'm just saying if he's asking for way too much money, the Raiders need to move on from him and let somebody else take that burden.
If they give him a multi-year, if someone gives him a multi-year deal coming off an ACL injury, and he's never put a full season of production, that'd be crazy.
I don't think he's going to get a multi-year deal from anybody. What I'm saying is he's going to get that 1 year deal for a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Way more money that the Raiders will be willing to give him for that 1 year.
I think the Raiders will do it. He's not going to get. He's not going to get no 1 year $20 million. Maybe max $10 million with incentives. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just and that's
and 10 million I'm cool with. 8 to 10 million I'm cool with. But there's a possibility that there's a team that will give him 12, 13. That's what I'm saying.
For 1 year, yeah.
For 1 year, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is there's teams out there that will overpay for his services.
But who knows?
And if that's
about
the case,
Kuntz?
let him walk.
Yeah, but who knows about Kuntz? That's the thing. Like, I don't think Kuntz is really. He's not a household name.
He's not.
He hasn't had any type of consistent production. I think we kind of value him really high because we're projecting him. We're like, he's gonna take that next step. This was supposed to be the season where he was gonna be balling out. Like Max is gonna get double teamed, Christian Wilkins is gonna get double teamed, and Kuntz is gonna go crazy. He's gonna get like 10 plus sacks. Didn't happen. So if that didn't happen, I mean, I think it can happen.
Square one.
Yeah, it's a messed up situation for him. Like him getting hurt, like it really is a messed up situation. But we'll see. I mean, I would love for Kuntz to come back. I would love for Chase Young to come back. Just keep adding these guys with Max, and I think Max is going to be like you mentioned. You mentioned earlier when we talked about one of the biggest reasons why the defensive line has played well. I asked you if it was because of the coaching staff or the players. You said the biggest reason is Max Crosby, and I think Max would be the biggest influence in some of these players coming back. But we'll see, man.
Severe, you got what you got? You got anything else, bro? I know you wanted to get some.
Yeah, I was just going to say that teams that look at analytics, they'll look at what Kuntz did as soon as he got consistent play and he turned into a top 10 edge rusher, and they'll say, we can take a calculated risk on this guy on a 1 year deal to juice our pass rush, especially teams that just need, like, I can see, like, like the Cowboys, like Lawrence, he's like, he's on the wrong side of 30, and he's probably, I think he's a free agent too. I think he's looking for some big money. Okay, well, instead of paying him, let's take a shot on this this young pass rusher that had a great half of that year. He's coming off an injury. I can see that happening, and so I think there's a chance. Now Kuntz may want to, depending on if we keep Antonio Pierce or Patrick Graham, I think that plays a factor in it as well. I think he might want to hedge his bets and say, you know what, I was here, it's where I have my most production. I'll sign a 1 year deal and hope for a bigger deal down the line. But if somebody offers him some like big money, or more guarantees in a 1 year deal, I could definitely see him saying, I'm taking that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I mean, that's going to be interesting. That's going to probably want to be one of the most interesting storyline or interesting things from the offseason is like, where does Kuntz go? What team is going to go up to the table? Like, I'm like, man, like if someone picks up Kuntz outside of the Raiders, they did their homework.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
They did their homework because that'd be and usually the good teams do. You know what I mean? Like a team like the Ravens, the Steelers, though if they make that move, I'm like, man, like this is why this team is.
That's a Steelers and Ravens move, man.
If they pick up like a Kuntz or a Chase Young or something like that, I'm like, damn, man, like this is that move the Raiders can't afford. Seahawks, like. Just this type of move that the Raiders can't afford to. We need to, if they want to be good in a very small, shortest period of time, this is the types of signings that you got to. They're not going to be game changing signings, but you got to like be able to build the depth on his team. A lot of the good teams have depth. And one of the strengths on his team is supposed to be the defensive line. So why don't we keep building on that? Because we mentioned that our corner, we don't have a number one corner, but we'll make it easier for our secondaries having a top defensive line. So I wouldn't be mad if a lot of people are going to take this wrong way, but like Jones came back, Jacorian Bennett came back, maybe add a corner or two, you know, but I think the Raiders need to go all in on that defensive line, in my opinion. That front seven, that's where it's going to be at for them. If they want this defense to continue to be good, no matter who's the defensive coordinator, you know what I mean? Maybe if the Raiders get, let's say for example, I'm just throwing possibilities. Let's say if AP doesn't come back, Patrick Graham's not coming back. I'm not gonna lie, I like Robert Saleh at defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? A guy like him with whoever at head coach, you pair him up. I think that would be nice. You know what I mean? I think because we got like you said, we have, but it's just a matter of like, you know, building off what we have, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a long off season. We're going to have a lot to talk about, but that pretty much is the conversation around the nation. I know everybody's talking about the number one pick and yada yada yada. There's still a couple of games left. The Raiders can mess around and lose these 2 games. Obviously, it's you know, it's the way the season has went, and some of these teams, and they might mess around and win. Yeah, I know that can happen too. That can happen too. But this is crazy to say. Let's keep it positive. They lose 2 games.
Damn.
Crazy, yeah.
That's nasty work, bro.
Oh my God.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, like we seen that tankathon draft position where there's so many teams tied up. If a few teams win some games, Raiders lose the last couple games, they get into the top 5. I feel good. No matter what. I want us to get a quarterback, but at the very least, we get a great player. You know what I mean? We get a great talent at a key position. I like the idea of adding a Mason Graham. I like to just add to that.
I wouldn't be mad at that either.
I'm telling you, bro.
I wouldn't hate
I'm
that.
telling you.
They have bigger needs elsewhere, though. But
we do. We do. I mean, I know you're big on that wide receiver. You know what I mean? I know you mentioned Abdul Carter. That and a lot of that has to do some of the stuff. A lot of the things that we're going to say is probably going to change because we have to wait. And what happens in free agency? Some of these guys, like you mentioned, Kuntz might go to a different team. Chase Young might go to a different team. Then that means we have to prioritize pass rusher. So I get that 100%. But we'll see how it shakes out, man. That's around the nation. But we got extra point coming up, man. Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But we got extra point. And Mike, man, I think you wanted to let's have you lead the way with this extra point. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the screen. Your guy, man, this is the unsung hero. I'll just say that. Unsung hero, and I'm gonna put this on the screen and do it, man.
Yeah, man. Unsung hero, man. It's our guy, Adam Butler. Adam Butler has been holding it down on the defensive line, particularly in the interior, all season. He's been doing his thing. You can see right there in that 3 technique, putting on a move against the Chargers and making the play right there on the backside. In a 2-point attempt right there, kind of in a 3 technique right there, plugging the hole, doing his thing, and then right there, head up on the center, giving him, extra effort right there and going downfield and making a play. This is the type of stuff we've been seeing from Adam Butler all season. You see right there, spin move right there. That was filthy. This is what you're getting from Adam Butler, man. And I think that, as bad as the season has been, another spin move right there. As bad as the season has been, he's been a bright spot. Now you see him right here making a play against the Ravens right there. Little club and rip, right there, getting right there and almost making the play. Impressive stuff from Adam Butler. He's been doing this all season. And, particularly in the last couple of games, his pass rushing game has been crazy. According to PFF, He against the Falcons, he had a 75.8 pass rushing grade, and then in Week 16 against the Jaguars, 68.5. Nothing to scoff at. This is the effort that you've been getting from Adam Butler all season, and you know what? I'm here to be his advocate for a payday. For depth, this is somebody that you need for a spark and that veteran presence. The Raiders need to sign him right away for at least a 2-year deal.
Man, yeah, I mean, I completely agree. He's been like in a season where we've lost all of our potentially big impact players on our defensive line. You think about Kuntz in the offseason, and then Christian Wilkins early in the year, and now Max Crosby. He's been the steadying force, even going to Adam Butler. So not only for what he does on the field, because he's been like a steadying force, especially on the interior of the defensive line. Probably our most steady player, especially with Wilkins going down early. But just his voice as a mentor and helping bring these guys along. I think that's hugely important. But I know Pharaoh looked at the possibility. I know it's a little bit different now because free agency started. Where
Yeah.
the Adam Butler is the pig man in both those situations. Laulu just got a sack in the same way, right?
Yeah.
Adam Butler is the pig man, taking out two guys, allowing somebody else to be in the spotlight and make the play. So I just think that he's a guy that's unselfish, high energy, great leadership. That's the kind of guy you want here. He's a Raider. I think he's like the defensive tackle version of Jacoby. Does all the dirty work,
Yeah.
doesn't complain, just a steadying force, a leader, and still a damn good player.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and for him, it's like you said, it's all going to depend on what their direction is in the draft. We're talking about if we're still at number 6, a guy like Mason Graham. If we are still at 6 and we do look at Mason Graham, then you're right. He's going to be out the door, unfortunately. But I would like to see him, if that's not the case, give him that 2-year deal, $6 million, like I said, some incentives, signing bonus, things like that. He's 30 years old, so he's kind of almost on that back end of his career. So give him a 2-year deal and take care of him and let him continue doing his thing. And right next to possibly Christian Wilkins next year, that's formidable. We might need a nose tackle because John Jenkins is going to be out the door. But besides that, you do have him for as depth, as a guy that can come in pass rushing situations and reduce the number of snaps he's going to get down the line. So that's something that we really need to look at for Adam Butler. This dude has been consistent. This dude has been a lightning rod and a bright spot for his defense all season. And I would hate to see him leave, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, man. Same here. And another guy. Speaking of, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Laulu, and I don't know what kind of deal we got him on. But he's a guy that I think he's a developmental piece, especially at the 3 technique. I know for a few games we had him playing like a little bit of a big defensive end, but just because we're so low on bodies. But I like his energy, I like his effort. And I think there's something there, man. So like if we aren't able to get a guy like Mason Graham in this class. I feel like that rotation with Wilkins, Adam Butler, and what Lualu was bringing to the table as well.
Sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man. So Adam Butler is definitely a guy that you would prioritize and bring him back to this D-line rotation.
Yeah.
And how many D tackles do you guys see being kept on this roster by the end of training camp? I know we're kind of like moving way ahead, but like, what would you say would be the right number of defense tackles on this team? Because I mentioned earlier, like if Mason Graham's on the board, the Raiders. This is obviously if we can't get a quarterback. Worst case scenario, I know the Raider fans don't want to hear that and not get a quarterback in the first round. But I'm just saying anything can happen. But how would that look like? How would that defensive tackle? We got Christian Wilkins. You're saying Adam Butler should come back. John Jenkins on the roster now, but John Jenkins, I think, will be a guy that probably replaced.
Yeah, you gotta go.
How many D tackles do you guys see on the roster?
That's the only one you bring back for sure, man. That I would be like 100% bring back. Laulu is somebody that you would also want to consider too, because he's shown some promise as well. Um, and we said this last week. What do we do with Tyree Wilson?
Right.
Is he an interior defensive lineman or not? Like that's what we're looking at. Do you play him strictly as a 3 technique, or do you put him as like a strict, 5 technique in run defense situations? Because he only has one move.
Exactly.
He doesn't have any pass rushing moves. So you got to really consider what you're doing with him next year, and that does matter. But as far as who else you're bringing as far as interior D line, you're going to have to bring in a whole new set of guys at this point. But Adam Butler is a guy that you need to. That's number 1 on the list as far as your interior. You need to at least bring him back.
Okay, so Adam Butler, Christian Wilkins, definitely coming back. Would you say probably two more players at that spot, maybe on the roster, on the 53-man roster? I know we're looking, we're projecting here, but we're not gonna say any name, just the number of players at that position. So we got 2 players that for sure that are coming back. But then would you say another 2?
Yeah, I would say 2.
What do you think is what do you think is Severe?
I think 5. I think 5 total. 5 total. Another nose tackles. I think we have about that many on the roster right now, and especially it all depends on who we have a defensive coordinator. Because this year we've been running a lot of 5-man fronts, and in those 5-man fronts we've been running 3 defensive tackles. So if that's something we want to keep doing going forward, we're going to need more bodies at that position. Now I know they throw Tyree on the interior sometimes, but like he low-key been getting his ass whipped on the inside, no lie. So, so I don't know if that's something they want to do consistently or depend on that. So they may need more and bigger bodies on the interior.
Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, look, it's gonna be a whole lot to talk about. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of free agents. What would you say is another unsung hero outside of Adam Butler? I know that was like the main topic of conversation for Extra Point, but what would be another unsung hero that no one's talking about that definitely should be brought back?
I mean, we haven't even talked about Robert Spillane. He has a contract that's due as well. He's has one of the, I think he's leading the league in tackles right now, or at least in the top, as far as tackles go. And he kind of gets lost in the shuffle because how bad the defense has been.
Right.
So I mean, how bad the team has been in general, but consistently, Robert Spillane is putting up big numbers as far as tackling and being that true linebacker. You definitely have to have him being your leader in the middle, that green dot guy. That's somebody that you got to bring back, you got to consider, and he's definitely an unsung hero on this defense at this point.
Severe, who's your other unsung hero?
I mean, I think Robert Spillane is a good one. I mean, like Caleb. I think Caleb. I think he's a guy that he's just on a defensive end right now. He's the only guy that's really generating any kind of consistent on pass rush. So I think he's been an unsung hero. But I definitely agree, Spillane. We got to pair him with a better linebacker, more dependable linebacker, especially in terms of injuries. Spillane is definitely a guy we got to bring back.
Hey, I'm surprised y'all didn't mention Morick. Trayvon Morick was an unsung hero. Especially contract year. What I mean? He's a guy early on in his career. Some people kind of were, one foot out the door with Trayvon, like, I don't know. It's another missed draft pick, second round, but being in the same system has served him right, where he could just play fast and make plays. He's still not the playmaking safety that we want to see, but he's been consistent this year. He's been really good, consistent, versatile. I know they move him around a lot. He's obviously coming out like that was like one of his biggest strength, his versatility, that the fact that he could guard someone in the slot, You know what I mean? Obviously played that deep safety role. I think early on that's what he played in Gus Bradley's system, where he was like, that deep safety. So it was a transition for him to go to Patrick Graham's split safety system, right? But he's played well. I think probably you can argue probably the most consistent player on the defense outside of Max. To be honest with you, like if you're thinking about it,
yeah. I mean, once Epps went down, I mean, you move Merrick over to strong safety, and he's been in the mix a lot,
right?
And been successful too. So, and we did talk about this earlier. Like, do we bring him back? Like, it all depends on we bring back Patrick Graham. That has to be a factor. Do we bring back Patrick Graham? If we don't bring him back, does he ever we're trying to do next year on defense? That's the biggest question.
Right.
And that's what I consider. If we don't bring if Graham decides to move on, then it's going to be hard for me to be like, let's commit to Merrick, particularly at the strong safety position, because I think he's better at strong safety than at free safety.
Right.
So
you know what we should do? I just thought about it. This probably be one of the I think after the last game of the season, or even before the last game of the season, we should give out awards. Tough season, but we should give out the awards. We're saying unsung hero, but we should give out the most improved, MVP, defensive player of the year, just Raider players, and we can well thought out where we kind of go all in. We think about it, who should win that award, and we'll talk about it for next show. I think that should be a good topic, especially because it's the end of the season, so we can actually give that a good answer.
Yeah.
But that being said, go ahead.
Also, Isaiah Paul, we can't forget about him either.
Oh yeah,
that's another unsung hero. AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Congratulations, we got to give that to him. I almost forgot, man. I feel bad for even bringing him up last minute. To be honest with you, this dude has been playing lights out. Two forced fumbles. Led the team in tackles last game. Like the dude is a mainstay for this team. For next couple years. At least I hope so.
Yeah, and that's why earlier in the show I said, do we have our starting safeties next year? Right now,
we might
with Morrig and Palomar. Just the play. Hey, Palomar's making plays. You just mentioned AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Forced a couple of fumbles last game. Coaching staff loves him. Now it's hard to project him with maybe a new incoming coaching staff coming in, but hey, I mean, Severe, do you see that happening? More coming back.
I mean, we do have Ed Reed's cousin on the roster, so there's you never know when that. You got Ed Reed's cousin, man. So at any time he can snatch somebody's job, man. But seriously, not. I mean, all things being equal, if this coaching staff stays the same, especially if the defensive coaching staff stays the same, I think that they've been building chemistry. We've been seeing a little bit more, and the defense has been playing well, man. Like even in these games we've been losing, the defense is holding up their end of the bargain. It's just the offense. Think about the game, like the Jaguars game. We only scored 19 points. We only scored 19. So that wasn't like no Herculean effort on offense. That's still a very losable game. And if not for the Jaguars kind of shooting themselves in the foot at the end of the game, they could have marched down the field and won it. But we won the game on the defensive side of the ball that game. So they've been playing well. So some continuity there will be nice.
Yeah, there you go, man. Hey, look, man, it's a lot can happen between now. We don't even know if AP and the coaching staff is coming back, so that can change That can change a whole lot of things. Just because we mentioned this before, just because we value a player doesn't mean the next coaching staff will. So we'll see. I wonder if Telesco or a GM, because Telesco most likely, I think he's going to stay. I wonder what his impact on the decision making on keeping certain players for the new coaching staff. I wonder how that would work. Would he 100% follow what the coaching staff, the new incoming coaching staff wants? So if they don't want to bring back Morg, if they don't want to bring back certain players, does Telesco push back and be like, you know what, this is what I think, this is our full evaluation of this player, blah blah blah. Like, does that conversation happen, or do you think he's gonna follow what the new coaching staff comes in? Because I'm trying to just play both sides. If AP comes back and his coaching staff, or a new coaching staff comes in and what they would want. Does Telesco have any say in that?
Yeah, whoever comes in is going to be 100% stamped, sealed, and approved by Telesco. He didn't have a say in who the coach was this past year. This time around, he's going to, assuming that AP is going to be gone. So
I hope not.
In that case, say again.
I hope not. I hope not. It's 100%. Hopefully it's just. I don't know, man, because we seen what he did with the Chargers as far as picking coaches, and it was terrible.
I mean, I'm just saying, when you have a GM, it's usually the GM coach. It's a relationship that we have not seen between Telesco and AP at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's a divide, there's a rift there. You saw it in the press conference when AP was like, "Go talk to Telesco about it." Like it didn't seem like that they got like a kind of synergy that him and Kelly had. That's all I'm saying. It just seems there's a rift, and it seems like their time has expired.
Even the draft.
That's all I'm saying.
Even the draft. We had questions when we seen how AP was like almost like disgusted, like leaving, walking around, not giving people dap, and just like oh, has AP left the building? He already left,
right?
Like, it's just we had to
man.
question that a little bit, but that comment for sure, I remember that. But go ahead.
That's what matters, man. I mean, GM is gonna have his stamp on who the next guy is, whether we like it or not. And the truth of the matter is that the GM is going to be – Telesco is going to be in the building next year. We can pretty much say that that's what's going to happen. More than likely. More than likely than AP still being in the building, I'll tell you that. So, if that's the case, then Telesco is going to be – he's going to make the decision. He's going to be one of the main people to make the decision who's going to be in the building.
I think in a perfect world, the GM should be in control of picking the head coach, but the Raiders being the Raiders, they're gonna have that whole building just fingerprints everywhere when it comes to picking the head coach. When it comes to Mark Davis, he's gonna want to pick a guy that he likes. Tom Brady, I'm sure, is gonna be a guy that he counts on. Yeah, his wild. Yeah. Tom Brady's gonna be in his ear like, hey, Vrabel. You know what I mean? Like he's a good guy. He's blah blah blah. He might throw him in there. You never know. Yeah. Whatever guy that's out there, And I think that's the part where I feel like Telesco might have like a say, but I don't think he's gonna have full control. It's gonna be like, here are the options. Telesco run the interviews. Bring my coffee.
Yeah. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. He's gonna have a little bit more say than he did this year. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, he had no say on AP. That was a Mark Davis decision, 100%. This time around, he might have a little say in it. But you're right. It's the Tom Brady show. To be honest with you, I think Tom Brady is gonna be the de facto GM. I'm be honest with you. Owner / GM, and then we're gonna roll from there.
Yeah, man. But hey, it's that time, man. It's one of my favorite parts of the show, man. It's NFL game picks, and hey, we're coming down to the wire, man. 2 weeks left. 2 games, not 2 games, but 2 weeks of picking games left. And
he got something else on his mind. 2 games. He got something else on his brain.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Look, man. Hey, last week I made a move, man. I made a move, man. Look, Mike went 11-4, doing his thing. Obviously went 12-3, but Severe,
Uh-oh.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, Severe, you stumbling right now. You stumbling and fumbling and bumbling right now.
Be all right. Be all right. We gonna be all right.
Team 7 and 3/8 is starting to fold, bro. I don't know.
Oh man.
Oh,
Hey,
nah.
but let's take a look at the season. Let me make it bigger here. Let's look at the season total right now. Mike's at 102.61. I'm at 110.53. Severe at 112.51. Still has a slight lead, but very slight. Two games.
You just need to be two. You just need one game better. That's all. All I need is one game better.
Yeah, getting close.
Man,
all I need is one.
Hey, look, man, this is gonna be interesting,
close.
man. It's getting close. It's getting close, man. But let's. All right, well let's go ahead and start the.
Those are his words of affirmation for himself, man.
Man, for real.
He's sweating over there, bro.
Oh, nah, man. Look, I'm cool as a cucumber, man. I'm Jaden Daniels in the fourth quarter, baby.
All right, we'll see, man. But
see.
Mike,
We'll
you
see.
up, man? We got the Chargers and Patriots.
Yeah.
Who you got?
We got the Chargers, man. This is the time of year where the winners win and the losers lose. Chargers win this one.
All right. Man. This one, you know what? I really want the Patriots to win. Outside of obviously, I just really want the Patriots to win. And the Chargers have kind of been inconsistent a little bit. I know they won last game. Patriots, Foxborough, man, what is the weather going to be like? It's going to be crazy. This is going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess I'm going to go for it. Upset pick of the week, man. Patriots over the Chargers.
Right out the gate.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Better head coach, better quarterback. Lad McConkey has been a revelation at the wide receiver position. They lost J.K. Dobbins, but Gus Edwards has still done enough. Even
Gus Edwards is
Quinn,
out.
Gus is out too. Oh man, that's still though. I mean, I still think that they'll be able to do enough. Quentin Johnson, he's been having some pretty good games as well. And I think the X factor here is Jesse Minter. I think that dude is he's on the path to stardom as a defensive coordinator. He might get some head coaching consideration this cycle. That's how good of a job he's done with this defense. And I think the Chargers do enough to win.
And that's one of the things that I liked about Jim Harbaugh is that he's going to put guys around him. He's a great.
He brought Jesse Minter with him from Michigan.
He's a great evaluator of coaches. You know what I mean? He puts really good coaching staffs together from his days from Michigan to obviously the 49ers. Everywhere he goes, he puts people around him where he's able to be the head coach, but they also have people run their side of the football field. And I think that goes back, man, even with defensive coordinator for Vic Fangio. All them years that was a defensive coordinator for the 49ers was Vic Fangio with Jim Harbaugh. Those talented defenses, man. That was to me, man, that was a great defense to watch. Just if you're just a football fan, just watching that 49ers defense. And I'm a Raider fan, but man, that was a fun defense, especially with all the linebackers. They had so many They had so many blue chip players, man, from the linebackers to Justin Smith to Alden Smith. Young Alden Smith, where the dude was getting sacks almost every snap he played.
Man,
but
the Smith brothers were crazy.
And back then, you could hit some players. They had some hitters. Dante Hittner. He was Whitner, but they called him Dante Hittner
out of Ohio State.
Yep. And then they had who was the other safety? He was a hitter too. Forgot him. But Bowman, Patrick Willis, obviously linebackers. Man, that was a fun defense to watch. But anyways, man, let's move it along. We got Broncos, Bengals in Cincinnati. Who you got, Mike?
Man, I got the Bengals winning this one. I think the Broncos, I'm not saying they're hitting the wall, but you start seeing at this time of the year, your rookie quarterback just struggling just a little bit.
Right.
I got the Bengals winning this one. Joe Burrow, I don't know if they're officially eliminated or not, but this win is this will be a big win for them. The Broncos currently hold the number 7 spot in the AFC, so this keeps the Bengals alive, one game behind with the tiebreaker. And I think the Bengals get it done, man. I got the Bengals winning this one.
Yeah, home game, better quarterback, but Bengals have been kind of a disappointment this season. But yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I got the Bengals over the Broncos.
Make that three of us. I think the Bengals are just a better team. I mean, I was looking at something. They were looking. Everybody's been so enamored with Bo Nix as a player, and offensively, if you look at statistically, they're basically the same. It's just their defense has been transcended. But I think that the Bengals are such a good offensive team that they'll be able to overcome that good defense on the other side.
Yep.
All right, here we go. So we got the Cardinals and Rams. We got Mike.
I think the Cardinals ran out of gas, man. The Rams clinched the division right here. And they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I don't think anybody wants to see the Rams in the playoffs at this point. I got the Rams winning at home.
All right, you got Rams. This is tough, man, because I'm leaning towards the Rams, but Cardinals is just one of those weird teams. They always they're just consistently inconsistent, and they win game. They'll easily win a game like this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, is this a? Oh, this is a Saturday game. Okay.
Yeah, Saturday.
Cardinals Rams. Man. You know what? I'm going Rams, man. Sean McVay, one of the best coaches in the NFL. You got something cooking.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well, man. I think the Cardinals, against a struggling Panthers team, with the chance to keep their playoff hopes alive, they got down early. They clawed back. And then they subsequently, lost it in overtime. I think the Rams have much more to play for. The Cardinal season is essentially over. So, I got the Rams winning.
All right. We got the Colts and Giants, Mike. Who you got?
Man, for the sake of the Raiders right here, man, I'm going with the upset special right here. Giants win this game somehow, some way. Maybe Richardson is struggling in this game. Maybe Jonathan Taylor is struggling in this game. Maybe the offense can't get it together for the Colts, and the Giants find some ways to win here at home. I got the Giants winning Game 3 for them in the season and giving us a chance to get back on that number 1 spot.
Hey man, I'm with you, bro. I'm hoping the Giants win. I think there's a possible chance, just because Anthony Richardson, man, he's not as he's struggling a little bit at that quarterback spot. They won last game. I think they put up 38 points. They won 38-30 last game. They're playing in New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. Anything can happen in that stadium. I got the Giants, man. I think in the upset. Who you got, Severe?
I want the Giants to win, but I got to roll with the Colts. I just think they're a better team. Whether it's, I think Anthony Richardson, if I recall, I think he got a little bit nicked up, so we could be seeing Joe Flacco play. If that's the case, I really got the Colts. But
same. We'll see.
But either way, man, the Giants are, I think Drew Lock is questionable for the game. So if he's not playing, who they got? DeVito. I don't know if Neighbors has been kind of banged up. So do they decide to shut him down like the Cowboys just decided to shut down CD? I think the Colts win it.
Okay, all right, man. That's fair, man. I can see that happening. I'm just hoping the Giants win.
Man, I'm hoping right there too, man. Despite my personal interest in the game,
Right.
You know, the Raiders
got
come
you.
above all.
I got you, man. We got the Jets and Bills, division rivals, face off. Who you got, Mike?
This is an interesting game just because the Bills are pretty much locked in at the number 2 in the AFC. They can't catch the Chiefs. Chiefs are 15-1. This game really doesn't matter to the Bills. Does it matter to the Jets? That's the question. Um, I got the Bills winning this game, but Josh Allen's nicked up. You might see him for a half. You might not see him for the full game. If I had to guess, considering that there's really not much to play for, and if that's the case, then this game might be a lot closer. But at the end of the day, I think the Bills pull this one off by a field goal.
Yeah, I got the Bills. I'll just leave it at that. I got the Bills. I just the Jets just got so many things going wrong with them. I see what you're saying. I gotta see who has that third seed or who has that third seed and what their record is.
I think the Ravens do.
Okay.
The Ravens currently hold their number 3.
And they have more than 5 losses?
Yeah, they're 10-5.
They're 5.
Oh, they're 10-5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then the Bills didn't have. Okay, if they're 10-6. Okay, if they have 6 losses, then it makes sense. Then what you're saying makes sense. The Bills have nothing to play for. But if it's 5,
the Ravens just won. They're 11-5. They just beat the Texans.
They're 11-5. Okay, so they're 11-5.
11-5. There's 2 games left. This is one of 2 games that we're looking at that's left. That means that it's probably in their best interest to solidify that second spot because I'm not sure what happens if they end up losing 2 straight to end the season and then leave it up to like the football gods and how it works, strength of schedule at all. The Ravens end up getting number 2 spot. But I got the Bills. Who you got, Severe?
And then remember, I think the Ravens didn't they beat the Bills' ass earlier in the year too. So if it's a tiebreaker, they could go.
Yeah, so that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, and then just I think selfishly for Josh Allen, he wants that MVP. I think he wants it bad, and we saw what we saw the heroics and the wizardry that Lamar Jackson just put on display, on Christmas Day in front of the world. So I think Josh Allen wants to go out there and put an exclamation point on to his season as well in these final 2 games. So even though the Jets have been playing better football, Devontae and Aaron Rodgers are recapturing a little bit of their chemistry from Green Bay. I don't think it's enough to overcome the Bills.
Is he like the calmest player? Like Lamar, is he like the most calmest player in the pocket? Like he has no fear. Like the way he just. Yeah.
He's the best athlete on the field every time he takes the field.
And he knows it. He knows it. He plays with so much confidence. Like, hey, like
poise.
Poise. Like he just back there, just surveying the field. Like you're not gonna touch me. You're not gonna catch me. I'm just gonna look. That's literally what he did last game. I mean, or at least the few times that we seen him drop back and make some plays. Like it's fun to watch. But so you got the Bills, right?
Yeah, the Bills.
You got the Bills. All right, Bills across the board. Mike,
this is it right there.
Oh man, Tank Bowl special. Titans Jaguars. Who you got?
I think the last time they played, I don't think it was a low scoring affair too. This is gonna be ugly, man. This is gonna be ugly. Man, first to 10 wins. Let's go to Jaguar. Jaguars win this game. Mm-hmm. It's in Jacksonville for that only that reason. I don't know. Both teams are bad. I think Titans are without Levis, so they're struggling with the quarterback. First to 10 wins right here, and the Jaguars get to 10 first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Titans, man. The Jaguars they look so bad. Mac Jones, like, how long his career gonna be? Like, is he gonna play? He's just not good. Like, I just don't see it at all. But yeah, I got the Titans.
So I am going to go with. Ah man, this is tough. This is tough. Do the Jaguars bounce back after a tough loss? I'm gonna go with the Titans just because the Titans have an underrated defense. I think they have like one of the better defenses in the league. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster. Just destroyer of worlds. And I think Adam Butler had a pretty good game. I think when you were reading off the PFF grades on the interior against the Jaguars interior, even though I think the Jaguars beat them last time too. I think that was Mac Jones' first or second start, and he actually beat. I think he beat him like 10, but I think it was 10. I think it was something like that. I want to say, and it
Yeah,
was like a
something like
real
that.
nasty game.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, neither. Yeah, I'm gonna go with just all based off their defense alone. I'm gonna go with the Titans, but Brian Thomas can get loose and have a big game. That might be enough, but I'm gonna go Titans.
All right, all right. Hey, man, it's literally the tank. This is another version of the Tank Bowl, so it's like tomato.
That's,
I can see it either going either way.
This is the Tank Bowl, though, man. Our game last week was like the Tank semifinals. Like that
yeah,
was, you know what I mean? That's the Tank championship, man.
exactly.
Well, this might be Tank. Yeah. I mean,
We got put out the first time. We got put out the first round of the tank 16.
Well, we
Yeah,
got.
right.
So what do we call this game? Raiders and Saints.
A shit show. That's what you call it, bro.
Cast the ball.
What they got the Rose Bowl, they got the Tank Bowl, they got the Orange Bowl. What would you call this? What bowl would you call this?
The toilet bowl.
The
Toilet bowl, man.
Toilet bowl.
Yep. Man. Yeah. Sponsored by Drano, man. Flush the season down the toilet, man. With ease. With Drano. But man, I'm gonna say this. The Raiders better not win this damn game, man. I'll tell you that. They better not. And for that, I'm going with the Saints.
Going with the Saints. Let's see here, man. Oh, man. Well, look. Aiden O'Connell, he's hot and cold. He's hot one game. He's cold one game. Solid one game. He had a solid game last game. It's on the road. If they can get to Aiden, he's gonna throw it up for grabs. We've seen it. We've seen some crazy throws where he just thrown it up there. Yeah, I'm going with the Saints. What you got, Severe?
Just purely, it's not even because I actually do think the Raiders will win this game. But just purely because I don't want to root for them to win. I want to root for them to do well, but I don't want to root for them to win. I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, that's holding my nose and picking the Saints just because we cannot win this game, man. We cannot win this game.
Yeah, I agree.
So you got the Saints. A little bias here, a little just hoping the Saints take care of business at home.
God, man.
But we got the Panthers and Buccaneers. This is I don't know.
It's an interesting game.
It's an interesting game. I should say that. Interesting game. Panthers, Buccaneers in Tampa. Mike, who you got?
I think the Panthers are trying to crash the party, man. They already virtually eliminated the Cardinals last week.
Yeah, they literally eliminated them, not virtually.
The Bucks are tough. Yeah, eliminate. They straight up eliminated them. I didn't know for sure, so I had to throw that in there. But they're eliminated. The Bucks are tied with the Falcons in the division, but the Falcons have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So a loss here for the Bucks might eliminate them. Basically, might eliminate them, and I think the Panthers are game for that. I think they're playing spoiler. I got the Panthers winning this game, man. I think they're finding it at the right time, spoiling the Bucs season right here at home. Panthers on the road with the win.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Bucs, man. Bucks win this. I mean, hey, man, shout out to the young QB, man, for the Panthers, man. He's
resilient, man. Resilient dude.
Doing his thing. People wrote him off. I'm like, and I remember when people wrote him off, like, man, it's been less. Like, it's not even. He's not even like a couple of games. A couple games into his second season, and in the first season, it was so much dysfunction going around. I'm like, man, come on now, like. This is how you if there's a way to ruin a QB, the Panthers were on their way to do that. Like they're trying their best. And that started with the owner of the Panthers. But that being said, he was able to bounce back, really lost his starting job, and had his head coach sound like he didn't even want to give the job. Sound like he Andy Dalton was gonna be the starter for the rest of the season if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm going with the Bucks, man. I think the Bucks need this win more than the Panthers. They're still technically in it to make that playoff run, possibly wild card or maybe the division. So they're still kind of in it mathematically. So I think the Bucks need this game. So I'm going with the Bucks.
Man, I don't see the Panthers winning 2 games in a row. maybe that's why I'm picking the Buccaneers. I just don't see them winning 2 games in a row. Last time they played, I think they played the Buccaneers tough and still lost. I like Chuba Hubbard for the Panthers, but I just saw a locker room interview where Xavier Legette was eating. He had a Tupperware full of raccoon meat. I can't pick a team. I can't pick a team based on that. Yeah, the Tupperware full of raccoon, shredded raccoon, bro. I can't just off the strength of that, bro. I gotta go with the Buccaneers, man. I think Bucky Irving. I think he's due for a bounce back game. I like Rashad White as a back as well, and Baker. Shake and bake, man. I think with the playoffs on the line, I think he's gonna play well enough to get them to win.
Gotcha, man. I'm with you. So we got the Cowboys, Eagles, division rivals in Philadelphia. Who you got, Mike?
Oh man, we going with the Eagles right here. This means a lot more. The Cowboys seem to be turning it in for the season. Draft position is everything to them at this point. I got Eagles winning this one.
Yeah, I got Eagles, and I think Eagles a better team. And they're kind of do the Commanders have the division lead, or they're right?
No,
there?
The Eagles have it.
The Eagles have it 12-3. So Commanders had like 5 losses, I believe, 4 or 5 losses,
something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense for the Eagles to probably like solidify that division and also playoff spot too. Yeah, by winning this game. So I got the Eagles for sure. Who you got, Severe?
I'm gonna go. I mean, the Cowboys. They just shut down CeeDee Lamb. Even though the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, I think he might be in the concussion protocol, and Kenny Pickett was kind of banged up last game too. But AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. I think the Eagles have too much, and they're good defense as well. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
All right.
Yep.
Eagles across the board. We got the Dolphins and the Browns. Who you got, Mike? In Cleveland.
This game really is meaningless. Dolphins. I mean, I don't know if they're eliminated yet. I don't know. Dolphins need it though if they're still alive. I'll go with Dolphins here. Browns are in tankish mode. I don't know what's going on with the Browns, but they're done. I'll go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going Dolphins. Who you got, Severe?
Dolphins. I mean, I think DTR starting again, and he struggled, turned the ball over a bunch. Tua's back, Tyreek Hill. Dolphins.
Whew. The game of the week, man. Packers Vikings.
Yeah.
Who you got, Mike?
Man, every week I'm like the Vikings. They got to lose here, right? Like,
right.
They just keep on winning. They keep on winning, man.
They keep on winning.
It's crazy. But I like the Packers in this game. I'm going against the Vikings again. I'm probably gonna get burnt on this one again, but I got the Packers. They're playing their best ball at the right time. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs in the NFC. And shoot, they're still alive for that division with this win. So I got the Packers.
Man, this is tough. I did pick against them last week on the road against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Packers. Man, this game could go either way.
Can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings, man, at home. Who you got, Severe?
Yeah, man. Look, I don't know. I just like Kevin O'Connell, man. I like Kevin O'Connell as a head coach. He's one of the best young head coaches in the league. Sam Darnold, he's been somewhat up and down, but like Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, like they just got and this is a Aaron Jones revenge game against the Packers as well. I think the Vikings pull it out at home, man, and yeah, they prove they're the real deal, and possibly they're possibly the best team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm. So you got Vikings, man, without a quarterback too. To be honest with you, I mean Darnold's is solid this year.
That's Kevin O'Connell, man.
It's Kevin O'Connell and the pieces they have around him too.
Yeah.
So if you want to see how to get it done without a quarterback, look at how the Vikings are doing it. And the Raiders
just have the best receiver in the league.
and the Raiders failed miserably at that. Like they didn't have the offensive coordinator they didn't have like that genius offensive coordinator. They didn't have like the pieces around him. Devontae gave up. You know what I mean? Like he that was like the end of everything right there, right? And then the defense was hurt and struggled early on. So here we go. So we got the Falcons and Commanders.
Hell of a
We
game.
got Mike. Yeah.
I'm tuning into this game on Sunday. Two rookie
man.
quarterbacks, our favorite rookie quarterbacks this year.
Man, you feel me?
Michael Penix, and Jaden Daniels, man. That's gonna be must see TV.
Two young QBs, man. Maybe two young top QB future.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm interested to see and Michael Penix played good this past game. He played decent. He's gonna. I think he's gonna improve as the games go along. I think the Falcons win this game. I got a feeling the Falcons beat the Commanders here. I'm going with the Falcons, man.
Well,
this might clinch the division too, by the way, with the Bucs loss.
Yeah, I think a lot is on the line for the Falcons. Commanders, I think, have they solidified? They look like they might have solidified a playoff spot. They're at 10-5. Pretty much likely. There. But it is on the road, man. Jaden Daniels is crazy. Man, this is tough. But you know what? I'm gonna be with you, Mike. I'm going with the Falcons, man. Upset on the road.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I mean, these are my my top two quarterbacks. And the Falcons, they do have a lot to play for, and the stats don't tell the story of how well Michael Penix played. I think he played a really good game for his debut. But I think Jaden Daniels is just he's special right now, man. We see what he did against one of the best defenses in the league last week. A team that hadn't given up more than 2 touchdown passes to any quarterback. He went out there and put up 5. I think he's trying to solidify himself as the one of the future faces of the league, and I think he does that.
All right, man. So we got so you got Commanders. We obviously went the Falcons, man. That's definitely gonna be a good game to watch. QBs, man. It's gonna be nice.
And I want the Falcons in the playoffs. I want them to win, but
me too.
Yeah.
Michael Penix in the playoffs, man, doing his thing. That'll be nice.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Especially at the right time too. Like it's not like we've seen him the entire season,
Yeah.
so he's coming on late. So it's gonna be interesting. We got Lions, 49ers, Monday Night Football. Who you got, Mike?
Lions need that pound of flesh, man, from that NFC Championship game. I think they don't forget. I think they didn't forget. And this game still matters for that number one seed. They still got to keep winning because the Vikings are right behind them. The Packers are kind of creeping up. The Eagles are right there. Lions win this game. It might be a blowout. I got the Lions.
Yeah, I got the Lions too, man. Lions, I think is everybody's favorite Super Bowl pick right now.
Yep.
Severe, who you got?
Yeah, Lions. I think the 49ers are down to like their fourth string running back. They were having to run Debo Samuel. So that's how injured they are. The Lions are cranking on all cylinders right now. So I think they're gearing up for a Super Bowl run. They're not going to take their foot off the pedal. And like you said, I think they want to exact a little bit of revenge based on the NFC Championship game last year.
All right, and that wraps up game picks. Be back here next week to see the results. It's coming down to a wire, man. Hey, look, it's coming down to a wire, man. We'll see how it shakes out at the very end, man. Make sure to tune in. Great show. We picked a couple of upsets here. Obviously, I picked the Patriots, which is crazy. Not a really good team, but I picked them to win. Mike,
Giants.
you had a couple with the Jaguars and Panthers. The Giants, I think, but me and you went Giants, but Severe, technically that would be an upset for Severe just because he's the only one that picked him as far as the Colts winning that game. And and also, Mike, you also picked the Packers. And me and Severe picked the Vikings. So, Mike, man, it's aggressive.
I got to make my run, man.
Hey,
The miracle
Going out
run
in
right
blaze
now,
of
man.
glory.
You got to.
Man.
But let the people know, Mike, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Big Mike Raider. You already know the deal, man. First thing that pops up when you do a search, Big Mike, one word, Raider, second word. You can find me on X. You can find me on IG. And you can find me once a week for right now until the season's up on Around the Shield, man. I ain't got nothing to talk about with these Raiders, man, but I got to talk with my guys on Around the Shield. We're getting it in for the rest of the season.
There you go. Severe, man. Let people know where they can find you, what to look forward to.
You guys know what it is, man. At the Severe Raider, YouTube, X, IG, Snapchat, TikTok, all that good stuff, man. Every Friday with my bros Around the Shield. Make sure y'all hit us up on IG as well on Around the Shield, for the latest and greatest Raiders news, memes, clips, all that good stuff. Every Tuesday, I'm generally rocking out with my guys. Chris from Protect the Shield, who was actually on a 50-50 show this past Tuesday, as well as
show.
The 50-50 show with my guy Pharaoh. And make sure y'all, Christmas is over, but you guys have a chance to make the New Year right. Make sure y'all cop some of that merch, man. You guys know where it's at. It's gonna be in the comment section as well as in the description to this video.
Facts.
I gotta
100%.
go check y'all out, man. I've been meaning to do that too. I gotta go check
50-50
y'all out.
shop, man. Make sure to check it out. The link is gonna be in the description and the chat for everybody watching us. Make sure to check it out. But also, we'll do Around the Shield, like the gentleman said. Every Friday's episode drops. 50-50 show with me and Severe every Tuesday, and just be on the lookout for new content, man. Just be on the lookout, and how you do that is by subscribing, hitting the like button, and hitting that notification bell so you'll be notified. Also follow us around the Shield on X and on IG, so you can get the latest and greatest with the Raiders and memes and podcast clips, all that good stuff. So make sure to check us out there, as well as follow us all over social media. Y'all see the names on the screen, man. Pharaoh NFL, Big Mike Raider, and the Severe Raider, man. Great show. Make sure to clock out. Light the thumbs. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Any last thoughts before we head out?
Man,
lose.
awards next week. Are you doing the awards for the finale of season finale of Around the Shield?
Yeah, man. Award show, man. Make sure to tune in next week, man. Award show. So we'll try to put together something. Obviously, you know, everybody has their opinion on who that should be, and it'll be a good conversation to have. But
it's one player getting a whole bunch of awards.
Yeah, for sure.
You might get him defensive player of the year too.
Yeah. For real. Get enough tackles, right? Off some interceptions.
Man. But hey, man, we on the way out, man. Severe, man. I like snapbacks. Just some let you know.
Yeah, comeback season, baby.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.